Welcome everyone to the AFK podcast. I am your host Afro Black, coming at y'all with another episode with my co-hosts Mr. Markov's Portrait and Faulty OD making a return with a new guest, Mr. Bobby. Say hello to the people.
What's crackin' lacking?
Oh, was that meant for all of us?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Hi, Mr. Markov.
So Julio's intro is saying hello to.
Well,
Nice.
Julio hasn't
Roll
been
it.
in here in months,
That's
so
okay.
I
don't
think
really
he forgot
have
his.
an intro, my guy.
He
That
just
is
kind of pops
100%
in
fair.
whenever.
What up, faulty fam?
There you go.
There you go. There
There
it
we
is.
go. Beautiful. He's gonna name his
Almost
Twitch
maker.
subs that too.
Yeah, dude.
He's calling you all damaged. That's
It's
why.
the fault line.
Cool. Just call them faults.
It's
They're all
Damn,
faults.
that's good.
Beautiful.
Is it good?
Yes, it's good. It's a
Yeah, the
homie
fault line.
thing.
Yeah.
True. It's like calling someone honey. You know, everyone's a fucking fault in their family.
Damn. Well, we have a lot of toxic shit to talk about today. All right. What stupid subject do we want to start with?
Yeah, I should probably.
Should we just go ahead and start with Overwatch?
Oh boy! Oh boy!
Do we want
oh
to just
boy,
get
oh
right
boy.
into the nitty gritty?
Overwatch is my favorite game.
All
The
right,
broken
beautiful. I think Carter just
promises.
volunteered to tell us about the drama. Why don't you go ahead and tell us
You
about it,
didn't let me
Carter?
finish. It's my favorite game that Activision's released in the last 12 months.
Beautiful.
Which I guess that's not even accurate anymore because Diablo dropped on Friday. Fuck. Anyway.
Oh hell no!
So no, I was about to start fucking ranting about Diablo. Overwatch 2.
One thing
My
at a
only
time.
rant
Yeah,
about Diablo 4 is that they need to give the gems its own pouch again. So, fucking Overwatch 2, good god, it really has been like 3 weeks since we've done one of these. For those who are not in the know, when they announced Overwatch 2, one of the giant, pretty much like the giant marketing pillar they had behind it, was that there was going to be a robust PvE mode with like a bunch of story shit and just like a bunch of lore and fun stuff like they would do in the seasonal events, but like as permanent modes and fixtures of the game. They have come out as of, it's been about a month now, maybe a little under, and said that they are no longer continuing with any of the PvE stuff, that they told everyone they needed to make a new game in order to fit in.
Beautiful. We
Yeah,
love to
so
hear it.
Just to add on to that, they have confirmed that they are doing story-based PvE missions. The main problem, though, that they ran into is when they were going into the skill trees that were supposed to be made to create a kind of roguelike experience for their PvE component. Uh, so that obviously made a lot of people mad because, like, like Markov said, the whole reason for Overwatch 2 existing was because that PvE was supposed to be there, and that was their whole selling point on why Overwatch 2 wasn't just an update to Overwatch 1.
Well,
To go.
even on that, I feel it's an understatement saying that because I genuinely believe Overwatch as a whole was promised as a PvE experience game. They did have the multiplayer. The when they had the matchmaking back in when the beta was out and things like that, it really feels like that's all they've ever grown and added from, not their test for it. They didn't really add any sort of story missions whatsoever, even in the first one. So even in the second one, it's it's not even a broken promise. It's just not fulfilled product at all. It,
Yeah,
it's
so.
it's go ahead.
No, you keep going.
No, because it's just like that. That's like me just venting at that point with it. The expectation was set. The beta is we are testing out our multiplayer game component for our main game Overwatch. I mean, they had a whole cinematic fully laid out when the game was barely coming out that was supposed to start off this whole Omnic crisis. I mean, that was the whole point. With Tracer literally stopping Widow from the assassination and failing. That's what triggered it. And that is at the very, very literally beginning of the game. And now, years later, where they have to update and come out with a whole new everything with saying it, we're basically making this as a jumping point so we can have a good base so we can add on. And then just them outright saying they're not doing it, even if it's story based missions, that's not what was promised. That's what they can attach right now, but that should have been in Overwatch 1. They should have come out with story missions then because that felt more appropriate. I mean, Junkrat's Revenge is a basically a PvE game in Overwatch. They
Yeah,
gave us that
comes back
experience.
literally every year.
Yeah, they keep giving us, so the bullshit excuse saying that they just couldn't figure out a PvE that was adequate is bullshit because they did. They just ignored it. They had literally this new client isn't designed to add on PvE because they did that. For fuck's sakes, the custom game modes you can do feel more like PvE than anything new and not recycled, new content they have come out since Overwatch, not Overwatch 2, since Overwatch. I don't care where people saying, "Oh yes, they updated the game. It's a whole new map." That's bullshit. That is an updated map. Other games have done updated maps. Call of Duty does that. Basically every other game, it's an updated version of a game 2, 3 years ago. That's what they did. And there's no hiding it. It's not a new experience. They're not adding PvE add ons. It's literally just a battle pass machine at this point. And that's the saddest part of a game I genuinely enjoyed.
Yeah, so like just to kind of give some perspective on why this is fucked up. For anybody who doesn't know, Overwatch originally was Project Titan being created by Blizzard. If nobody knows what that is, Project Titan was supposed to be an FPS based MMO, which assumedly would have already had PvE content. And the funnier thing is, a lot of the people who were working on Project Titan were ported over to the Overwatch team. So it seems kind of crazy to me that an entire team of industry veterans who were working on an MMO could not figure out PvE content for a game that was built off of an MMO.
100%.
So to go further into that, the major gripe isn't like, oh, this was promised, this isn't what we were given, this is like super horrible that way. What is horrible about that is that it wasn't just a promise that was broken, it was a promise that they knew they couldn't deliver on.
And
So,
they still went with it and kept publicizing it.
yeah, so what ended up happening was about, I think they said about a year and a half after they had announced that that PvE content was going to exist, they had already figured out that they wouldn't be able to do that, which happened about 2 years before Overwatch even released, and they not only didn't tell anyone that that was changing, they didn't tell anyone that the plan had changed. In fact, they had continued to tell everyone this awesome PvE is still coming, and that's why we are no longer working on the active Overwatch 1. That's why we're no longer giving you updates. That's why we're no longer giving you content. That's why we're no longer giving you new heroes. The problem is they lied about what they were doing and did nothing during the time where they were doing actively nothing.
100%. And in that time, they managed to roll out, what was it, 3 updates for the Battle Pass system? in that time, and it wasn't like small updates. They like one of them was they changed the full pricing layout. The second one is they came out with the full like layout system, and then recently, just now, they like what was it, a couple months ago, they completely updated it again because the original one was unstable. They've
Yeah.
managed to roll out updates for that, but not for PVE. It's
Yeah.
it's laughable because it genuinely feels that Project Titan, I genuinely feel was way more complete than it was actually announced, because those promo animations they released, they were long. They were 3 to 4 minute long, high quality animations that came out years ago. Those types of animation take years. It genuinely feels like that animation with Tracer taking down Widowmaker feels like the opening intro to the game that they had already partially completed, and the beta that came out with testing the matchmaking system was feels kind of secondary, because during that time it feels like the games were basically those tactical shooter games with ability based heroes and champions was becoming more popular, and when they were testing out, they I feel like they realized that that was what the market was going for, so they switched it from a story based PvE game with a matchmaking component to a matchmaking PvP game that eventually was going to get more story rolled out. And with what you were saying with it genuinely feels like it was just broken promises, and and they just lied about, they knew at what point that they couldn't release the game, but they still said they could. I feel like they were gonna release the game. They did it. They switched it to that PVE. We're gonna release it. Realized how popular the PvP was going, focused on that, and rolled with it. And then they were gonna trickle out little by little. But then when people finally started leaving the game and they couldn't keep up with the other games that were actually coming out with story, with more substance than just the same characters, the same unbalanced layouts, comps, and everything, they realized they needed something. So that's when they started teasing the PvE, the more story missions, and then they changed the game matchup to keep it fresh for the current players. But they literally they put the story on the back end and focus purely on money and cosmetics at this point. It's not even that they're trying to hide it. I mean, if that's the first thing they're launching in Overwatch 2 is the battle pass in the shop versus any story content, that shows where their priorities are at. And now when they realized that they need something to keep their game alive, they just can't. Because they have focused their attention, they have forced all the creative content creators that work with them, all the production industry, anybody that worked there, they forced them into more of a, you need to shovel out skins that have content versus actual content that can then fulfill skins. It just they milked this game to the bone. They kept promising things that were originally supposed to be in the game. Overwatch 2 just, it doesn't even feel like a disappointment at this point, because to say disappointment is to have expectations, and that's what I had for Overwatch 1.
Yeah, I mean,
Goddamn.
like, I hate calling it Overwatch 2 at this point because it really isn't. It
It's
It's
not.
literally
not.
is
It's a
Overwatch
It's
2.
not.
It's an Overwatch 1.25. If you even want to
Yeah,
give it that.
No,
it's
not
like,
no. Like they've removed content from the original Overwatch, because
Mhm.
now those PVE matchmaking modes that they would rotate, half of them are gone. Like though
Well,
they
that's not to mention all the fucking PvP maps that they retired.
yeah,
yeah,
like they've removed content. They haven't changed anything. I mean, the current shop that you can quote unquote say was added is just a recompressed version of what they already fucking had. Like it's just they got rid of loot boxes because the whole other legal gambling issue that it's just not the point of this talk. Basically, it's how Overwatch fucked themselves over, because like they they just had so much on their hands. Like what makes me so angry is I still love the characters.
yeah. I
Like
mean,
even after they were bastardized, removed, and everything, like fuck.
yeah, I mean, like, and to say that the loot box removal isn't part of conversation is like, I feel like that's not right because part of it was the fact that now like literally skins and stuff that would have been free by playing the game for your initial $60 purchase
Right.
that you could have just gotten from playing the game, enjoying your time, and even like buying new characters with that in-game currency. That's no longer a thing. Like that's not. I think we did the math and we found out when Overwatch 2 first released that in order to get a legendary skin, you'd have to actually grind and get every single piece of gold that you could, and you would have to do that for 8 months in order to buy one legendary skin, whereas you could just shit out like 10 a day, probably,
That's
if you
fair.
were actually playing.
I think my wording on that was a little shitty because I meant more of the actual political gambling thing. So honestly, loot boxes like that loot capsule, I wouldn't really want to say loot boxes because like when I think of like loot giveaway, I honestly think of like the league system
Yeah.
because honestly the new system it feels fine. Like the amount of essence I get, the amount of skin shards I can just redeem by playing the game, and I can get multiple. If I choose one I like, I can discard the rest and like earn towards that one. And it doesn't take me that long. It takes me maybe a couple like actual games of dropping loot boxes and things like that on champions, but it's manageable.
Yeah.
Like what they did with the shop is just an abomination. It's like because I remember with the when you got duplicates, you would get that essence, and then you could grind up that essence to unlock those skins, and that wasn't the best, but it wasn't
It
priced
was free.
horrible, right?
It was free. Like that's I earned that with my play hours.
Right.
Like that is what
So
I was allowed to do.
them converting that specific trait and removing the aspect of actually earning duplicates by playing by the loot boxes, that's just insane.
Yeah, it's insane that you get less from the battle pass than you used to from just playing the game.
Right. And that really goes into explaining a little more what I was going off with Isaiah with him saying like this kind of like an updated version. I genuinely feel the current state of Overwatch looks, don't get me wrong, the character models and everything, the physics, whatever, it looks fine. The actual state of the gameplay is not comparable to a full release game anymore. Like it
Yeah.
literally
No.
went down. I genuinely believe that this is maybe if Overwatch the first 1.0 update, that's the standard. This genuinely feels like a 0.9, like right before the actual release, where they realized, oh shit, our pricings and numbers are fucked up. Let's change that, do a couple tweaks, and we can shovel this out. It genuinely feels like Overwatch 1, if you were to release that today, would do better than the current state of Overwatch. Just
Yeah.
because of how you can get characters and loot and things like that.
Yeah, so one of the weird things that's happening is that they've said since they've announced that PvE was not going to happen in the form that it originally was, the reasoning they cited for that is that they said they wanted to focus more on the PvP aspect and make sure that the players that were already there are satisfied in being catered to, which fair. I think that anybody who paid $60 for their game that was removed from them that they can never play again should probably be compensated in some way.
Yeah,
So I'm
especially
glad.
considering they didn't get. Did they even get to have their skins and shit carried over?
You
Yeah, the
Kind
did,
skins
of,
carried
yes.
over.
but
Oh, okay, never
but
mind.
but there was about there was a large amount of players who could not verify their account or could not port over their stuff from their account. So they had to start over.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
Blizzard support would not
I
assist them.
think,
No, I went through that
yeah.
specifically, and the main cause was I couldn't
Okay.
verify my PSN because I was migrating like a PlayStation to the PC version. So because I got the original concept of it and like I signed up for it and I made my Blizzard account directly to PSN, it had another step of verification that I literally had to get the actual PlayStation that I had that was in California that my sister had to verify it to get it ported over initially.
Yeah.
And what made me like
Um,
pretty angry is I still had a shit ton of loot boxes. I know for a fact on that old account. When they got converted, the stupid legacy points was like a 1/3 conversion of what a duplicate would get me from my legacy points. It was insane. I could make like after I think I had it was like 25 or something loot boxes. I could get one legendary skin from all the legacy points, and that is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
I had a problem converting over as well.
Is he
Granted,
doing a thing for
played
you
pretty
guys
much
too?
Yep.
exclusive on PlayStation
All right,
console.
Carter, Carter.
Great.
I'm not trying to fuck with you, but
Yep, you're doing the robot man.
Well, I know, but my fucking internet. How about now?
Better.
Now, better.
Yeah,
Better.
better.
yeah, this is better.
Great. I had an issue as well, getting my shit ported over, and this is from PS4 to PS5.
So
When
it's in the
I
same
was getting all my
family.
shit, yeah, I was getting my shit synced up, and they were just like, "Hey, we think we found a BattleNet account to tie it to your PSN," and then they showed some fucking random ass name that I had never seen before. I said, "No, this is not affiliated with me," and then they said, "Okay, we're going to sync this up." And I cannot unsync it because I don't have access to the email address of the account that they hooked up to my PSN because it is not my BattleNet account.
Oh,
Oh,
Not
that's
only is my Overwatch 2 shit fucked, any Blizzard game I play on my PS5 is fucked.
that's fantastic.
Unless that other guy logs in and plays another Blizzard game in his life.
that's unfortunate. That's not even
The
a
only
you didn't like do it properly. It's they just fucked it up. Like
correct, and they straight up ghosted me when I tried to contact customer support. Like to this day, I have not gotten a response from them at all.
I'd be pissed.
well, I'm gonna be real with you. If I was
The
that
only
customer
silver
support,
lining with that is he had a few pretty cool skins that I did not have. Because it did mesh all of the shit that I had from Overwatch 1 with all of his shit. So
oh hell no.
there were a few cool skins.
I mean, it's
There's something in there.
yeah, it's something.
Jesus.
Oh. I mean, what I've come to realize is the saddest part of this conversation is we've really have just complained of like not even like character design, like balancing of the actual game. It's just have
No, it's
been
all the
like
shit around
structural.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like
And
Overwatch 2 is like a verifiably fun game. Like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you. I mean,
right.
like every Blizzard game I have played has been like fun for what it was for at least some amount of time. The only
Yeah.
problem is lately they have been making decisions based on profit and literally like just trying to milk not even they aren't even trying to milk the average player because the average player isn't going to spend their money in that way. They're trying to milk the people who are already connected to the IPs, who are basically addicted, who are like, this is Blizzard, this is what I have, this is what I will play until the end of time. Like, it's
Yeah.
just sad. It's just sad.
Are you
Like
guys going to I guess how do you guys feel about Diablo 4? Is that something you're willing to stick your neck
no.
out for after all this shit?
No.
No.
And I
No.
say that because even though I did hear that the game overall, I mean, it's a Diablo game, so it's basically the same formula, but it's still good.
Right.
I refuse to support a company that has been a piece of shit for the last, like, what, year and a half? Something like that?
Yeah.
Through not only business practices, but the way they treat their employees and just, like, generally how they treat human beings. And they can sit there and say, but then you're hurting the devs. Well, I mean, the devs also had a part to play in it too, so why should I care? It wasn't just
Yeah, we're already
executives having the issue. It was literally almost every aspect of Blizzard, including fucking art design, sound design, fucking development of the actual game, the executives, the supervisors.
The
Like,
artists already got paid.
exactly. It's just like,
Everybody, yeah.
Well, I
It-
mean,
it's
devs
literally
usually
just
get some
financial
sort of
management.
bonus. They usually get some sort of bonus as long as it hits numbers, which we already know it's going to hit numbers regardless. There are going to be people that, have a valid argument of they want to separate the art from from the politics or the drama or whatever. And I mean, I'm not going to sit here and try and argue with them. I'm not going to sit here and say that, oh, they're wrong or anything like that, because I just don't have that kind of energy. I just don't.
fair.
It's like I'm not trying to argue with them. I'm simply just gonna say you can enjoy your game. I'm just not going to buy it because out of principle and also the simple fact that I just don't have that kind of time to just mindly chug away at a Diablo game. I just
I
don't.
mean,
What were you
Well,
gonna say, Julio?
I was just gonna say that, like, yeah, a lot of the people, I'm not going to hold it against anybody if they're like, oh, I really want to play Diablo, I'm gonna buy this game. Like, I bought Hogwarts Legacy. I'm not gonna
True.
sit
I
here
mean,
Yeah.
Hogwarts
having the
Legacy was a
shit
different
about it.
story, and that was like a whole different thing. And you could also argue that J.K. Rowling wasn't really making any money off of the royalties or anything. Like, she was making
Yeah.
very little, and not only that, she's already a fucking billionaire. Like,
Right.
you not buying Hogwarts Legacy is not going to make her even, like, think
Less
the
rich,
thought of
right.
actually giving a shit. Like,
Well,
that
yeah,
is
but it's the
just.
same thing with Blizzard, right? Like, it's just a moral dilemma of blankety blank, so I do not want to buy blankety blank.
Well,
Like,
But people
that's
didn't
pretty
have
much
a
what it comes
whole
down to,
whole
bro.
issue with like an entire corporation. They just had an issue with like the figurehead of Harry Potter.
right.
Just
I think
like how
that
if it
plays
was
a
literally just the CEO of Blizzard having a fucking shitty time with all of his employees and shit like that, then yeah, I would probably buy Diablo 4
right.
if it was
Uh,
just him. But the problem is that almost the entire company had a role to play in it, whether they were either looking the other way or whether or not they were directly involved with it. That's my main issue.
That's fair. I mean,
What about you, Carter?
Uh, I, we'll see. There was enough about the game itself that I didn't agree with. Um, that I guess we'll see how they work out in the coming months. But for now, no.
Okay.
alright.
There's a lot of other shit on my video game plate right now, anyway. So
That's fair. I still have a handful of
100%.
games to beat. Don't fucking say it, Carter.
Elden Ring.
You fucking bitch.
I took one stab in the dark, if I'm being honest. I was just like, what was the last game they gave Isaiah? Afro
It's the
shit for?
only one they give me
The
shit
only
for.
one.
Yeah, it's the only one. I'm like, it's gotta be Elden Ring.
Bastards.
Fuck.
Oh, dude, Street Fighter 6 just came out, so
Yeah, I've
True
been
that.
thinking about putting that in my library, but we'll see. I
I'm
haven't
still
hit my.
balls fucking deep in Zelda.
Yeah, you're going to be for like the next 6 months.
Probably. Honestly, probably.
This man goes well and beyond 100%. He does 300% completion.
I do. I'm going for all 1,000 Korok seeds this go around.
Damn straight. Get it?
Not really.
Oh, okay.
Maybe all the shrines. Not all the Koroks.
You see, the difference between me and you is I would have been torturing the Koroks. I wouldn't have even gotten near the story.
I mean, I've tortured them.
I mean, as soon as I would have gotten the welding ability, oh no, my TikTok would have been blown up in them torture memes.
Jesus Christ.
Have you seen some of them? Some of them are the most creative, hellish things I have ever seen. I saw one that had a double layered rocket. All right,
Mm-hmm.
that's horrifying. Little tree spirit, you're launching that thing into the atmosphere for no reason, just because it
Do we,
please.
Well,
Do we have anything more we want to say about the current state of Blizzard, or can we use this as a segue to the fun game?
let's do
I
segue.
just want to hear
Yeah.
final opinions from Bobby and Julio. Are you guys going to be getting Diablo 4? If not, or if so, why?
No. Like, with the recent state of just Overwatch, any current Blizzard game, don't even get me fucking started on Hearthstone and their fucking pack releases. That's just fucking insane. And with the Diablo specifically, I mean, they came out with the app version, and that has literally topped the worst in-app transactions. They have
That is
butchered
true.
everything. Like,
What's wrong? Don't you have a phone?
the most fucked up thing about this is we're having hope for a game called Diablo 4. All right. Let that sink in. We're having a hope from that by my company that has literally been just robbing people blind. It's not a very bright future for that
Here's
game, but
my
I
thing.
wish it the best.
I never really had a doubt that Diablo 4 will be a smash hit. It's just more like,
I mean, sales and number wise, yes. People are gonna buy that game whether it's good or bad.
yeah.
What I'm waiting for is how many of those returns I'm gonna be seeing at a Walmart. If I'm being honest.
There's really not even like that much. Like it's on Game Pass day one, so I don't know sales wise if it's going to be doing as well as the other stuff, just by way
I
of it
mean,
being free for so many people.
that's not a good sign.
No, well, it's one of those things. It's like a good faith thing before Microsoft inevitably buys Activision and just starts dumping all their shit day one
Well,
on there. Like,
no, I mean like the Diablo used to be like the hard hitting like name for Blizzard. It for the longest time it really was one of their go to. You associate Blizzard with Diablo,
yeah,
and that's the part that just kind of doesn't sit right with me. It being a day one on Game Pass because it's just like you have Game Pass, which is what is it like $23 a month, something like that.
If you do the
if you
ultimate, I
go for
think it's
Ultimate,
like
yeah.
ultimate.
Yeah, so it's like you get $24 for all those games, plus you're getting their newest AAA game right off the bat. It feels like it's like I'm fine with it because like that means people are getting a AAA game for super cheap. But that's kind of what scares me because that's kind of the company itself not having enough faith in the game to hold up the wait time to say, hey, this will be available on Game Pass after a certain amount time. You know, I get that will make people angry if they get it at full price, but at the same time, it's like the company just being like, whatever comes to worst, hey, you got that game for free on Game Pass. I mean, can you really complain? Is what I feel like I'm being set up for. You know,
That's
like
a reasonable like a reasonable suspicion, I suppose. Especially
I don't
beginning the track record.
like yes, but at the same time, I think Game Pass falls under the same thing as Netflix, where you can bitch about the shit on Netflix. Just because you're paying for the service doesn't mean you don't have any right to complain about what's on it.
So,
True.
right.
so one of the main things, Bobby, to think about that too is that Microsoft has been going through the acquisition process of Activision Blizzard.
Right.
So the odds are, if it's on Game Pass, it's on Game Pass because they own it. Like they own Activision Blizzard, and they're really trying. Microsoft itself is trying to push Game Pass because it believes that subscription gaming is where the future of gaming is, which it is. But whether you like it or
AAA.
not, it is.
It is,
But
but
For
I
big
feel
studios.
like Microsoft isn't putting Diablo 2. Hey, this is our big game on Game Pass now. It feels kind of like, hey, this game is available on Game Pass. It's more of like, hey, instead of you with Game Pass, you get to play the new Diablo. You're gonna be hearing that 100%. But the way it's being like actually rolled out with it feels quiet for a huge game that came out before. So the way I see it is it can go two ways. One, they are afraid. They're afraid that this game's gonna be shitty, and they're not hyping it up at all. But they're putting as much resources as they can into it. So when it does come out, it's actually the new standard for Blizzard. This game's gonna be great. So they're underselling it, or they don't have faith themselves in the series that this will bring in any more new revenue and that they're slowly going to kill this game off on Game Pass is the
I
way I'm saying it.
I honestly
I
don't
don't.
think either of those are what's happening right now.
No.
Because
Diablo 4 is an insane, or Diablo itself as a franchise is pretty popular. I can't see them trying to kill it off subtly.
yeah,
Well, no, not suddenly. Like that's what I'm
The
saying. They're quietly gonna
yeah.
be doing it with Game Pass.
So Bobby, like the reason I'm having trouble with like the ideal that you're putting forth, where it wasn't like advertised that much, like. Of course, it's not advertised that much because it's fucking Diablo.
Yeah,
It'd be
as
like
soon as people
advertising.
heard about the fucking announcement trailer,
Right.
they were gonna be like basically fucking Google saving key phrases to know anything new about Diablo.
Okay, right. And that's where I'm just kind of like with Microsoft as how much of like a timid company they've become. If this game is really being put on the Game Pass with because before, remember Diablo 3, right, they weren't advertising it because all of the religious people were just angry about the satanic imagery and things like that of the whole fucking game. But people were still hyped. They were still talking about it. It was being like spread around, even if it wasn't like openly being like advertised. People were there was draw to it. Now there isn't really like a huge draw to it. It's more of the loyal fan base and the previous like expectation of the games before. So it's like Diablo 3 right now. People are just like hyped up saying, "Oh, this is gonna be a revamped, better experience of that's gonna be carried over." But as the current state of Blizzard and the acquisition itself of Microsoft, which has notoriously killed off other AAA IPs for less graphic imagery or because they wanted to update it to be more modern, is questionable because I don't see Diablo being a huge Microsoft game because it doesn't feel like a Microsoft game.
Well, I mean,
It,
because it's not supposed to be a Microsoft game. It's an
right,
Activision Blizzard game. So
right,
what Microsoft is going for isn't we're Microsoft, we're in your face, we're making these games. What Microsoft is going for in all of these acquisitions is
more of like a publishing
silent
aspect,
hand. Like
right?
they're trying to be like, I
And I
have
don't,
all of my money in this basket, and this basket is going to be
right.
giving me a shit ton of shit back.
And I feel
Like,
like that's the basket is Blizzard and Activision as general, and the games are like in that basket, of course. And I feel like Diablo's kind of the game right now where if any of those eggs had to be bumped out of that basket by accident, I think that would be the game.
I don't think it's Diablo, my
I
guy.
don't think it's gonna be any Blizzard title,
If
my
anything,
brother.
I think Diablo was the safest option they could have picked.
Yeah.
Well, it's not because it has a huge dedicated fan base to it, but it's more of just the
So to take that
imagery.
fan base and say subscribe to our thing for $10 a month, and you can play the
Right.
$70 game you've been waiting a decade for free.
Right. And it's either that game is either mid and you still have the subscription, or it's good and you still have the subscription.
I feel
Correct.
like you're thinking about this backwards, Bobby.
No,
I feel like we've converted you slowly. Like you've
no,
made our argument.
no. That's why, because like it is going on the Game Pass regardless. What I'm saying is like as like as a future as like a franchise of Diablo, there's like feel like the next game if it comes out is gonna take even longer. I don't feel like Game Pass is there to promote Diablo as like a forerunner. I'm not saying like what I'm trying to get that is like this game is gonna be slowly killed off on Game Pass because it's not gonna be advertised to it. It's gonna heavily rely on how much money they put into the actual like gameplay and keeping the game good. Because if that game comes out as not the greatest and it's still on Game Pass, people are still gonna buy it for the game and things like that. But Microsoft's attention isn't on the game itself; it's on the Game Pass,
Well,
and there
no,
are other games that can
What is the
because
point of
draw.
having a
Activision.
pass if you're not paying attention to the games?
So, Bobby, the problem with the thought you're having is that the onus is on Microsoft to promote and sell this game, but it's not. It's on
No.
Activision.
It's on Activision
Activision
100%.
Blizzard is the publisher. Microsoft owns them. That's why it's on Game Pass. That's probably the deal that they made during this acquisition is, hey, all of your shit is going to be on Game Pass.
Yeah, but the
Activision
publisher is
Blizzard,
usually the
yeah.
one that actually promotes the game. They're the ones that go out and do the PR and shit.
And this is definitely one of the biggest launches of this year for Activision Blizzard.
Whether or not it
It's one
sinks
of
or
the biggest
swims
Game
is a
Pass
different
games.
story.
So I'm like what I'm trying to say is basically like once it's on the Game Pass, right? It's up to like the publisher to actually advertise for the game, right? But on the Game Pass, you get your recommendation from games publishers and things like that. Diablo's not gonna show up as often because it doesn't feel like one of the front games Microsoft themselves would have there.
Bobby, Diablo
before
is
they got
literally up front and
popular.
center on the
Like the last
homepage of
Right.
the
Game
two
Pass right
games
now.
that have hyped
Right
up
now,
the
because
most,
that's the big game that's coming out right now.
but
Right.
the last two big Game Pass games that they have hyped up are Diablo 4 and Redfall.
Right.
Those are the two most recent giant get Game Pass to buy these games.
Right. Because that's the draw, because they want you to get the Game Pass.
Right.
And
And Redfall's
the draw.
fucking garbage.
Right.
So why would they not do everything they can to sweep that under the rug, especially if they have Blizzard coming in saying, hey, here's one of the most beloved gaming IPs in history.
Right.
Slap this on the front page of your Game Pass.
Right, but then you're putting a lot of effort of current Blizzard to put out a great Diablo game right now.
They were
Which
already working on making it a great Diablo game before Game Pass was even brought into the equation.
Yeah, they've been probably
Right.
working on this game for at least a decade.
But the Game Pass is a huge income of money right now. So if the game
Right,
comes
but by
out,
the time they got involved, the game would have been so much like so far along that that wouldn't have even factored into the overall quality of the game.
yes, no, and yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say is like right now, as the current state of the game, we cannot for sure say that it is a great game or a bad game because it hasn't been released. So
Diablo 4?
right.
No, it's out. People love it.
Okay.
Diablo 4 is a smash hit, my guy.
Yeah, no, that like almost
don't
every
know.
big fucking
It's
streamer right
reviewing
now,
incredibly
including League
well.
players, are actually playing Diablo 4. Whether or not it's in queue or just period, they're pretty much all playing Diablo 4 right now.
Yeah.
Because what I was basically getting at was if the game is like not good, like if it had not come out good, I feel like Microsoft would have just would have released it here, but then like in a year, no announcement for new products for the game would have come out and things like that. It would have like been slowly killed off.
Well, I mean,
Like,
Right.
Well, the thing is, though, is that
it's-
Microsoft wouldn't be doing the advertisement period, though.
yeah, that's not
it's-
Microsoft's decision to
Like
make
that's
Microsoft product.
Activision Blizzard's like social media and responsibility to put out those ads and shit. That has nothing to do with Microsoft.
the
Right.
most Microsoft would have to say as far as advertising that game goes is whether or not they want to tell people it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, basically.
right, but that's where
Which again, it's a very
They're-
well-reviewed game. People are liking it. Why would they not do that if it's going to bump numbers up?
right. Because no, because so yeah, so
Because
I'm
that is
agreeing with
honestly
no.
that is the first game since Game Pass has come out where I sat there and I said to myself, yes, if I had the means to use it, I would get Game Pass to play that game. That is the first time since Game Pass has launched where a game has piqued my interest that much that has been on Game Pass.
Right. Because if I'm being honest, there, like, I was going under the assumption that the game hadn't been released yet. I
Okay.
didn't know
Oh, no,
that
it's
it
out.
was released. Yeah.
No, it's
So
awesome.
my questioning was basically saying because if the game hadn't been released yet and we didn't know that it was a good game, because the current state of like Blizzard and with Microsoft being a great money income source, if the game had not been like good or basically if the game was not functional to where it was popular, it being on Game Pass with it not being advertised like in Game Pass and having that money, I don't think Blizzard as a current company would have continued investing as much as Diablo into Diablo as they have been before because it just wasn't making enough money with the current state of Blizzard not being able to handle properties. So what I'm basically trying to get at is if the game wasn't good this time around and it was put on Game Pass, if it wasn't right, because this is again I did not know that the game was already released and that people were loving it. I'm saying like if it wasn't good, because Microsoft Game Pass is such a huge revenue source for it, wouldn't be less production on any sort of Diablo content to come out.
So,
But
Bobby,
because
just to edit your statement, if
Go ahead.
Diablo 4 wasn't good,
Right,
Activision Blizzard would stop. Period.
right, that's what
Like,
because that would be the death of the company.
Were you
That is
around
not-
for the launch of Diablo 3?
I mean, alive, yeah.
A genuine question, were you around for the initial launch of Diablo 3?
I wasn't as big as into games when Diablo 3 initially came out. I was getting
But are
more
you
into games.
aware of the launch of Diablo 3?
No.
If Diablo 4 launched in a state as bad as you are saying could have happened to a point where it would start tanking everyone's reputation, I could see Blizzard pulling people off of Warcraft and Overwatch 2 dev teams to fix whatever the fuck was going on with Diablo 4. That is how much they have vested in that game. Especially after how Diablo 3 launched, there is no way in fuck that they would let that game do anything other than thrive day one.
Yeah, no, that's flagship. Like you said, like Blizzard. When you think Blizzard, Diablo is one of the names that you were like, yes, this. So if there is truly a situation where Diablo 4 was not selling well outside of Game Pass, somebody fucked up, somebody's getting fired, an entire
Phil
team is going
Spencer's
to be
writing a
named to
$5
Right.
check and
like,
handing it to Bobby Kotick by the end of the year.
Because basically, my line of questioning was based off of the game not being released yet, but
Yeah, no,
because
it's
it was
out.
already
It's
released,
great.
my questioning just became a hypothetical, basically. Because I was going off of if the game didn't go well, this would be basically the death of Blizzard. Because even with Microsoft being such a huge money source, if the game didn't do good, it basically feels like their last real shot to stay as a big company.
well, I mean,
Yeah,
even then,
no, it's
Microsoft wouldn't be making that decision to kill them.
No,
Yeah.
that would be Blizzard. All I'm saying is because Microsoft is such like a big current income source. If Blizzard would have lost that, that would have been a huge hit to Blizzard as a financial company. Because Microsoft really is moving off onto the subscription gaming, and they're moving everything they can on it.
Yeah.
So I guess that's where I was trying to say, if the game would have failed on Game Pass, the whole company would have been fucked. But now with the information that it's already released, and the company would cut off its own fucking leg to save the game franchise from failing, that makes a lot more sense. Because like, I genuinely hope that Blizzard continues this momentum and like doesn't do any post update shit that fucks with the game terribly, because that would be absolutely horrible. But like, I just hope, because again, I just love the Blizzard content. Like, it's just the recent management, it has made me sad.
Me too. Battle passes are my favorite.
Battle
It's-
Pass. The Fortnite
Cool.
Battle
Well,
Pass.
Well,
they're
that
not
was a
bad,
very
but you
long
actually
answer to a yes
give
or no
me
question.
shit.
That was,
Like, if the
that
battle
was a
pass
lot
just gives
going
me a
back.
fucking a chroma recolor, I'm pissed. If the fucking battle pass fucking lets me fucking throw glowing, exploding alien fucking rabbits at my enemies for no fucking reason, then fuck it, yeah, 100% down.
All right,
Let's
calm
go.
down, Randy Pittsburgh.
Game straight. All right. Well, I think we're done ranting about Blizzard, at least for now. I'm sure they'll get back on our shit list next week.
Yeah, no, give it a week.
They're about
Wait
the
for
it's about the
season one to
same
roll up, and then we'll,
it's about the same frequency as ranting about Nintendo, in all honesty.
Nah.
yeah, but
that's a
this
whole
time,
thing,
any
for
rant I
sure.
have about Nintendo is going to be really good because they're doing a lot for me right now.
Nintendo is good on my books. Right?
It sounds like Carter is in
Yeah.
too good of a mood. Why don't we talk about Ezra Miller again, boys?
Ooh.
Wow. Skip the Zelda going to the fall.
I'll even read it off for you, Carter. That way your blood pressure can only spike whenever, like, I'm done,
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm trying to help you out here,
Yeah.
All right. So, apparently, the director made or had a interview by Screen Crush, all right, not too long ago. And according to him, Ezra Miller can't be replaced as the Flash in a sequel. Let's see here. Any curiosity about the future of the Flash franchise and the star Ezra Miller's future with the franchise is entirely sensible. DC Studios is about to embark on a totally new DC movie universe, which the Flash will supposedly help bring about, which could open the door to totally new actors playing existing characters. Plus, in the years leading up to the Flash's release, Miller has had a host of personal problems. So many that at times there is speculation that Warner Brothers would either or wouldn't or couldn't release the Flash with Miller in it. As of late last year, a screenplay for The Flash 2 was supposedly already in the works. Miller has kept out of trouble since that August statement, but that might not be enough to convince Warner Bros. To commit to them as the centerpiece star of another $200 million movie. But according to the Flash director Andy I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that. We'll just call him Andy M. If that sequel does happen, he believes no one but Miller could possibly play the title character. Quote, if a sequel happens, yes, I don't think there's anyone that can play that character as well as they did. The other depictions of the character are great, but this particular version of the character, they just excelled in doing it. And as you said, Two Berries, it feels like a character that was made for them. Of course, this assumes that Andy M returns to make a sequel to The Flash, something that is also not a given. If someone else takes over the project, they could have a very different answer to that question. It also remains to be seen whether audiences come to see the first Flash movie. If it bombs, this could all be the mootest of moot points. Comments, questions, concerns?
I'm
My
just
concern is Ezra
fascinated that we
Miller.
live in a world. What?
No, I said my concern is Ezra Miller.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm just fascinated that we live in a world where Ezra Miller is basically getting away scot-free from any accusations that they've had levied against them in the last 5 or 6 years.
For actual literal
While,
kidnapping.
yeah, I call them accusations because innocent till proven guilty, and I don't want to deal with libel from a person who has,
Oh well, I'll deal with it.
kidnapped someone. um, it just fascinates me that we're having the same conversation. Well, it's not even the same conversation, the same kind of issue brought up with a major person in the MCU right now, and across the board, even from some sources that I've seen internally over at Marvel, people are looking to recast Jonathan Majors based on the allegations held against him currently.
You know, WB has really taken a stance with this that is pretty counter to what the rest of Hollywood is saying for the past like 5 years, at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah,
So
and
Well, and the thing was, like, when all this shit started coming out, a lot of people, myself included, were like, if they are not going to boot him from this project and from the DCU, then the only fucking feasible thing keeping him on there is the fact that this is the single, like, greatest second coming that DC has ever had. Which, based on early test screenings and early reviews, some fucking how seems to be the case.
I did hear that.
Like outside of like the Robert Pattinson Batman and like the Joker movie, apparently this is like fucking better than James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Like if we're keeping it in the DCU,
that's insane.
it is insane.
like, oh, that's. And there's the fact that they keep saying that no one else can play this role.
It's not true.
It's
Like,
you're right. It's such
there was a
bullshit.
guy that played it for 5 seasons on CW.
Yeah.
who
And
was
from what I
not
heard, he
willing
did
to
a
be
pretty
in
good
the
job.
movie, fucking weirdly enough.
Correct. It was only for 5 seasons, nothing more.
Does anyone know which Flash he is?
I think Wally.
I don't remember off the top of my
Is
head.
he Wally?
I think he's
I don't
Wally.
it's Wally West.
If he's Wally, this is incredibly fucked. Because at least they have Flashpoint to fall back on if Ezra Miller
Yes.
really fucks up.
Let's fall back on Flashpoint, the thing that changes the entire structure of the universe because of one motherfucker won't stop playing a role.
He wanted to go fast.
You want to go
Into
fast,
prison.
Sure fucking did. Oh.
But no, yeah, especially if he's Wally West, which wouldn't make much sense to me. But whatever, I could see them doing it. Especially with Supergirl in the movie, he might actually be Wally West.
So I'm looking it up right now to see which Flash is, Ezra
Are you
Miller.
talking about Ezra or the CW show?
I'm talking
No.
about Ezra.
Yeah,
Ezra is supposed to be Barry, I believe.
Is he Barry?
yeah,
I
because
believe it's Barry.
the two top search results right now is which Flash is the fastest, followed by which Flash is Ezra Miller. That goes to show what type of bullshit is being searched up right now
I'm
for
just
this man.
anything that didn't make me want to gouge my eyes out watching either cut of Justice League, and I'm pretty sure he's Barry.
Wally West is the fastest, in case anybody actually wants to answer that question. Anybody who
It's
says
Zoom.
it's not Zoom.
It's Zoom, Julio. He can just stop time.
Zoom has time powers. He doesn't have like.
Correct.
Yeah, that's not speed.
Wrong. He's just
He's
so
not a
fast he stops
speedster.
time.
Yeah.
He's the anti-speedster.
No,
That's-
that's
You can't
literally what
move
he
if
is.
I
It's
freeze
not
time.
You figured it out. You figured out the entire
That's
point,
just like,
Roman.
God damn it.
Congratulations. We've reinvented the wheel,
Oh.
boys.
Let's
Venom's not
go.
actually Spider-Man.
Whoa!
Oh shit. That's great.
Yep.
Jesus.
He's
All
supposed
right.
to
Yeah.
be Barry Allen, 100%. Yeah, no.
No, I don't know. I've been on the fence as to whether or not I'm going to see it. And honestly, after going to the movies on Friday, I think 90% of all superhero movies have been ruined for me. So,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That's a sin.
He means that in a way that Spider-Man is great.
yeah, no.
Oh,
Spider-Verse
okay.
2 is like,
Across the Spider versus Peak.
Jesus fucking Christ, it's so fucking good.
Oh,
I think I might go see that tomorrow or Tuesday.
You need to. Oh my god, I want to go see it again so bad.
Was a good movie.
He's just like, matter of fact, fuck this podcast. I'm gonna go watch it again.
I am. Right now, it's only a 3-hour runtime. I'll get home before 11.
no, oh damn! Wait, isn't it a two-parter too?
Yeah, well, it's like 2.5 hours, but yeah, no, it's a two-parter movie. The original cut of the film is like 4 hours long, so they did a Kill Bill and they cut it up into two parts.
That's if the movie's that good, I don't mind sitting through it, but I understand by the
It's like
peasants.
honestly, it didn't even feel like it. It felt like a 90-minute movie with the amount of shit that they cram in.
Ooh.
It's pretty
Just wait
solid.
until they do the fucking full releases. Just go to one of them super nice fucking movie theaters with the reclining chairs and just watch
Honestly,
the whole
and
bit.
I said this. I think I made a Facebook post about it, gushing about it earlier today. But I think if the next movie, the next part that comes out next spring, carries the momentum that these first two movies have, it is probably going to be heralded as like this generation's original Star Wars trilogy. Like it's
Goddamn.
that
That's
fucking big.
oh, that makes me happy. I mean, honestly, because Miles is honestly my favorite Spider-Man, and 2029 Miguel. Oh, he's in the top 5. That he is scary fucking Spider-Man. I love me.
Yeah, no, everyone fucking nailed their performances. Even for being an animated movie, you could tell that they did their research on the characters, and it's just
Like, does every character
fun
feel
guys.
like
They
they
know what
have
they're
their
doing.
own fucking universe to them? Just tell me that. I know
Say
the
it
whole
again.
point of it. Does every character feel like you can read a whole story to it?
So they pretty much do that. Like I'm trying to walk my way around this because I don't want to spoil anything.
Right.
They do a fantastic job of fleshing people out that I did not expect them to flesh out, nor did I feel like I needed them to before they did.
Oh, that's the good shit right there.
But it like retroactively after coming away from that, it has recontextualized so many moments out of that first movie.
Oh, that is Deathstroke.
That's actually crazy. Like,
It's fuck. I can't say anything
honestly,
else about it without spoiling it because there's so much shit that happens. But
just to go on like a little side tangent, some recent animated movies have hit so fucking hard compared to like live action movies. I know that you can't express as much stuff with live action actors as you can with animated because that's the whole fucking point of the medium. But it's just story wise, captive wise, there have been more animated movies where I've just been fully captivated based on just the story, not just like the animation and everything, but just the story alone. So it makes me
yeah,
super happy to just like, have that momentum keep running.
I honestly think like, and it's gonna sound like I'm just gushing about it for the sake of gushing about it because I'm already on the topic, but it feels like that first Spider-Verse movie really fucking woke everyone up in Hollywood as far as,
Yes.
oh yeah, remember when animation used to be fucking awesome.
Oh yes, you
And
have.
we're
Oh,
starting to see that.
chills.
Like I'm not a big Ninja Turtles guy. The trailer for that new Ninja Turtles movie looks pretty sweet.
I was telling Julio to watch the new series earlier because the most recent series, it's been like they have the animators themselves, because I follow them, some of them on social media, have straight up said that a lot of their inspiration comes from a lot of like animes, things like that, which is why the new series uses a lot of keyframes and like flash frames and like it's insane. And with like Spider-Verse takes that concept but spins it to a whole fucking 90-degree, because it goes from a 2D, 3D, and then 2.5D, where 3D models are painted over in 2D styles, and it fucking works. They took some of the stuff that was revolutionized in Claws, which came out realistically, about a 6-year difference between Spider-Verse, but production-wise, they had maybe 4 years to take what they had from that movie Claws, which was taking like a whole 3D movie, framing it as a whole 2D painting over to give it this like full volume feel, and they managed to do that, but still give it like a stylized street punk view with the new Spider-Man series that they've just been doing. It's beautiful. It's great. I can
Yeah.
go on for it. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot what the original point of this tangent was.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man go burr.
Superhero movies.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
We did it.
yes.
All right.
We did it. We saved Hollywood.
Beautiful. Not yet. We still need to, deal with
We're
the
gonna
whole
say I need
Flashpoint
part
thing.
3 to fucking follow through the way they set that thing up.
All right. So let's see here. We got a couple of side things. Why don't we go ahead and dive into this quick little like Dead by Daylight thing? So for the peoples that watch that actually plays Dead by Daylight, an unexpected character is going to be added to the game on July 5th, which will be Nicolas Cage. Yeah, I guess they're I don't really know what kind of meme they're going for here, but yes, they are adding Nicolas Cage to the game.
Nah, man, Nick
mean, he
Cage
had
has
the-
to pay off his debt.
Didn't he have the
Yeah.
Dracula movie come out not that long ago?
That Dracula movie, and then there was that whatever that Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff was.
Oh, yes, that movie's actually kind of hilarious.
What about the movie
And
that
then
he
he was
plays as
that-
himself?
Yeah, that one. Well, and then there was one other horror movie that he was in that was pretty well received recently. I can't think of the name of it. It was a few years ago. I think it was like Sarah. No, hang on. Damn it! What was it called? That's gonna drive me fucking nuts. Don't wait for me on that. I'll figure it out.
All right. Well, why don't we talk about a couple of fighting games? The first one being, let's talk about some Mortal Kombat here. So, for people that don't know, Mortal Kombat 12 was officially revealed. Let's see here. This article from Game Rant. Apparently, Mortal Kombat 12. They confirmed 8 characters so far, a release date, and new title, I guess. Let's see here. It'll be officially called Mortal Kombat 1, and it will be available to everybody beginning on September 19th. Mortal Kombat 12 or 1, whichever one you want to call it. Leaks have been spilling online for months now, with some of the finer details about the fighting game revealed ahead of its release date trailer. Prior to the official confirmation, leakers let it be known that Mortal Kombat 12 would actually be called Mortal Kombat 1 and would effectively be a reboot of the series. It was proven true by the official release date trailer, which confirms story details, the aforementioned release date, and 8 of the characters that will make up the game's roster come its launch on September. That's kind of a small roster. Only 8 characters?
Yeah, it's a modern fighting game. We have to battle past the rest of it.
That's rough.
Also, Mandy is the Nick Cage movie. I
Yep,
was
nope.
thinking of.
Yep, I was just gonna stop it there real quick for that. You said Sarah, and the name is
It was a
Mandy.
name. I knew it was a fucking name.
Yes,
Back.
yes, they're all names.
Jesus. Once the September 19th release date rolls around, Mortal Kombat fans can look forward to playing as 8 series mainstays. This includes Katana, Kung Lao, Fire God, Liu Kang, Melina, Raiden, Scorpion, Shang Tsung as a pre-order bonus, and Sub-Zero. It's almost certain that many other characters will join the Mortal Kombat 1 roster, including longtime favorites and new faces, but fans will have to wait for more official reveals on that front. It was also updated that Johnny Cage will also be confirmed for the roster as well. Besides confirming playable characters for Mortal Kombat, the trailer also revealed what fans can expect from the game's stories, from the game's story. It seems that the canon ending for Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath expansion is the one where Liu Kang creates a new universe, despite Liu Kang eliminating Shang Tsung in that ending, though the longtime Mortal Kombat villain has somehow returned in the new game.
Through pre-order bonus.
We're bringing him from the afterlife, dude. He is the afterlife. You can't kill him.
That's so funny. He returns through mysterious ways, and he's a fucking pre-order bonus. The mysterious way is just money.
He is.
That's
He
how-
broke the fourth
Master
wall.
Demon's death.
He broke the fourth wall. That's how he did it.
He literally paid his way through to get added to this game. That's
It's
funny.
beautiful. Just like a true capitalist, dude. While the trailer doesn't appear to show any gameplay, it may still give fans an idea of what to expect from fatalities. The trailer ends with an onslaught of extremely graphic and over-the-top violence as the various members of the Mortal Kombat 1 roster are eviscerated in the most brutal ways possible, as is normal. It could be that these CGI representations of actual fatalities that will be these are CGI representations of the actual fatalities that will be in the new game, but fans will have to wait on that front. Luckily, fighting game fans won't have to wait quite all the way until September to try Mortal Kombat for themselves. A beta will go live in August for those that pre-order on PS or PlayStation and Xbox, though the extent of it has yet to be detailed. It's unclear when more official information on Mortal Kombat will come to light. But there are some strong choices in the near future. Sony is hosting a PlayStation Showcase event on the 24th of May. Wait, that was already gone. Okay, never mind. While Xbox is hosting its own event on June 11th. It wouldn't be a surprise at all to see the game make an appearance at one or both of these big events, but fans will have to keep their expectations in check just in case. All right, which one of you, or how many of you fuckers are ready for Mortal Kombat?
It'll be interesting. I'm Mortal Kombat particularly. I'm always excited to see what they do with like the first game of each new console generation. Mostly because I like to see how over the top they can make shit.
True.
I can't wait to see them kill Scorpion again for the 19th time.
It's
Yeah, that
funny
would be
every
great.
single time. What about you,
I also
Raul?
wish they would bring Kratos back. He was my favorite Mortal Kombat fighter.
Fair.
I don't know. Mortal Kombat as a whole franchise, I don't know. I just kind of been burnt down on them. So, as Markov mentioned, it is the new game, the new console series. So I'm very hopeful. Hopefully, it might interest me back in more to the game, but hopefully they do something more with it. Because 9 characters to start off with in a fighting game isn't the best. Or I mean,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not.
it's kind of rough.
Well, so
I mean,
let me try and put that into perspective. You said the starting roster was 9, 8.
It'll
it's
be
8 and then 9 with bonus.
All right, so we're gonna say 9. What they have been doing with Mortal Kombat games in the past, at least 2 entries,
Mhm.
has been there's been basically 2 or 3 different loadouts that you could use that can drastically change the way your character plays or even what their playstyle is.
Okay.
So odds are with only 8 characters, you're gonna have closer to like 16.
that's
Okay.
fair with all the
So
variations. Yeah.
yeah, that makes more sense because like initially, what I was thinking was like it is a small roster, but for like balancing reasons, I can see why they would want to start off with like a smaller roster. But them having multiple playstyles, no, you're right. That does fill out a lot more of the roster. It honestly gets rid of a lot of like Echo Fighters or clones, which makes me actually happy because I'm tired of the 2 same characters with slightly different playstyles when they're the exact same literal character.
Yeah, no, like the loadouts that Julio was talking about. I've played I played the last Mortal Kombat, and also I think I have one of the newer ones on Switch, and the playstyles do change up pretty drastically. So I agree with that. But what about you, Carter? What's going on in the membrane over there?
Uh, yeah, no, like I said, I just like seeing everyone beat each other up until stuff comes out of them. I'm a very simple man.
All right.
Bring back babalities.
True.
Those
Fatalities
are
are good,
fucking hilarious.
but so big question: Who does anybody feel any kind of way about the fatalities and what they look like now?
I haven't seen them yet, so I don't know.
So I have seen a few, and
Okay.
the obviously like we're on next gen consoles, right? And we're able to have much higher fidelity and stuff looks. It's never gonna look real because Mortal Kombat isn't made to look real.
No, it's art style.
No, yeah,
Art
I
style
agree.
doesn't complement that.
Yeah, but like, um, they definitely do get very graphic, and there are a lot of people who were into Mortal Kombat and who have defended it in the past, who are starting to say like, "Oh, this is my break off point. Like, this is where I stop." And this happens with every Mortal Kombat, right? But I'm just kind of like trying to gauge the room and see like who all is like.
That I don't know.
See,
I
and
would
that's
have to get
interesting
back
because
to you on that.
the last one, I heard that less with like the gore system and more with like the final roster and like the DLC characters they introduced.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because like I don't even remember who all they
For
introduced
reference,
in the last one.
are you saying the new game's fatalities are off the end, or just the recent state of fatalities?
I mean, like, so this is a complaint that's made all the time
Right.
about Mortal Kombat, right? But apparently there are a lot of people who were starting to be like, "Oh, this is like this is really real at this point. Like this is getting into a like point of like where somewhere we have to stop." And a lot of people are like,
Right.
"This is where we're needing to like stop."
That's kind of tricky, if I'm being honest, because like in general, honestly, I don't care. There's these recent like we'll just take the last game 11 because that's the one I'm more familiar with their fatalities. Honestly, they're fine. I don't know what people expect really expect. I mean, this Mortal Kombat has always been Mortal Kombat. The I'm going to literally melt your face to your skull. It's just with the current state of graphics, people are now realizing, oh yeah, my cool melting face technique is, oh god, it is literally melting their face. So I think where 11 stands off with, I think they should keep it right around there because you are right with the new engine and everything that's coming out. There are tech demos of it just looks like a video. I don't think it would be of the best sort to make it more realistic just because then it becomes a haha, this is we're doing it for the meme to, oh, we are literally just making a simulation of someone dying.
Yeah, so I mean, but that's like what the developers of Mortal Kombat have said, right? Like in response to these criticisms, the developers of the current Mortal Kombat game have come out and said, "Yeah, we're like doing this." And apparently, there have been multiple cases of developers working on Mortal Kombat who have developed like nightmares and actual PTSD.
Oh,
Well,
So, like,
god
for the new
damn.
game,
yeah,
or
at
just
some point you have to ask the question, like, where does this stop? Because obviously, when developers are getting PTSD creating a
right.
video game, maybe you have
Maybe
let
there's a
something
Right.
problem.
out of
I
bounds.
can't give an opinion on that until I actually see the fatalities.
Well,
But like at the same time, we're at least, and granted, this isn't me like counting spin-offs or anything else, but like we're 10 main games into the series, no, 12 main games
yeah.
into the series, right?
Yeah.
Um, how much more can you do without it being over the top for the sake of it at this point?
Yeah.
That is
Like
fair.
when you have built your entire fucking brand and at this point legacy on pushing the envelope to that next step, at what point, like, there has to be a line in the sand where you know that you have to go for that absurd angle, because otherwise, if your main thing is gore and like brutality for the sake of gore and brutality, you have to keep appeasing that fan base that you've built, and the only
Yeah.
way to do that is by pushing the envelope.
Yep.
Well, with that argument, with Paul mentioned, if developers and people that are actually working on the game are starting to develop
And I'm not
adverse
defending that
mental
part of
health,
it. I just mean, like,
right?
as far as the game goes, like, because we were talking about, like, it's getting to a point of unrealism. At what point do they have to start leaning into that fucking cartoonish gore?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of what I'm like trying to say, because like if the creators themselves are the ones like wrenching from the graphics, and then the majority more and more people are saying, hey, this is getting kind of questionable. We see where you're going with, but this is getting a little too real. I think if they kind of need to stop with this one. I think like whatever peak they're trying to hit of, oh my god, this is insane gore. I think they should be good with this remake, because if they come out with this and it's already so bad that people working on the games are not in the same mental health, and then when it does come out and people are seeing it, hypothetically seeing it, and it's a horrible like graphic game, I think that's where it should stop, because roughly then they can make the argument, oh yeah, no, this is where we hit our stride basically, versus this is where we came more from. Is this a legal matter at this point?
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
But
like
yeah,
I
no, because like I had the same reaction as you guys when I like first heard of it. I'm like, oh, it's Mortal Kombat. Like people are complaining about the fucking graphics being super gory
Right.
and disgusting, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Next, and then like as I read into it further, I realized, oh wait, actual people are getting PTSD from working on this
Right.
fucking
yeah,
video
for
game.
sure,
Like
and that part
maybe,
absolutely blows. They should be looking into that. But
Like,
as far as the game itself goes, like I don't think, like, it's unfortunate with the position that they're in, because like if they choose to pull back on that, then they're,
yeah,
that
no,
I
people are
don't
I
gonna
know,
don't
they're
think
gonna
that's
start losing.
I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
that's entirely
because
accurate
like
though, because one thing with Markov is saying they're like with people constantly, that's their brand, that's what they're shooting for. Like there are multiple horror comic artists, manga artists, and the like that continuously draw this horrible stuff that shocks, makes people uncomfortable. But those people working on it aren't they're like their assistants are coming out more mortified, like literally like traumatized, because I know there's a difference between a still image of something graphic, because your mind will, if you are literally looking at an image to the point where it is causing you issue, your mind can start warping it. Basically, you can look away. It's a still image, but if it's like a 3D model and it's an actual details in that model that someone has to go in and make, at that point, no. Even at the fandom, because that goes to a certain degree where it gets to the point where if people are in the game fighting, playing it, will they notice it? There's an envelope of we have to hit it so the fans can see, and then there's an envelope for the fans in our head that we think are gonna see it. And I think that's the fans are shooting for right now. I don't think those are the good fans.
yeah.
Yeah, no. I would have to see the shit before I can make a stance on whether or not it's bad. Because I don't know if it's just like certain animations were causing like the repeated nightmares, or like just the simple fact that they were working on them for so long and having to fine tune them, and just
Right.
like elongated exposure to it repeatedly was causing the issues. I don't know. So I would have to see them first. Because
I
most
really
people
hope.
could probably make the argument that it's just like, okay, well, Mortal Kombat's no different than most of the gore you see in a fucking horror movie too. So it's just
I
like,
think, I think people that are, there's a pretty good overlap between those two fan bases.
Yeah.
And I feel like they know enough to know that it's not the same as a horror movie when it comes to gore. Unless you're talking like Evil Dead or just some campy fucking B movie slasher flick.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like with people, I don't think they should put that as a kind of a limit, because when you're watching a movie or playing a game, you're always gonna know that it's not real. But if you're creating it and you're striving to make it
Yeah,
that
your
much
goal is to
realer,
make it real. Yeah.
I don't think that's right. Just the
Yeah.
functionality. Because
Yeah,
like
I agree.
I feel, I don't know, it gets me kind of worried. Not that it's gonna be like a bad game or things. It just gave me kind of worried. Like, what type of fucked up shit is about to be released and we're gonna get a glimpse of?
Yeah.
Oh, what was that? Oh god, it was an old game. I think it was like on the PS or the fucking PS2. It was a caged fighting game with
Yeah,
horrible.
hang on. I know what that's called. One
Yeah,
second.
and it got like, it didn't even get released because it was like so like fucked up. That's what I feel like.
So
We're moving away from like that can't be fucked up to
I'm gonna put one of the fatalities in the chat
okay.
so that you guys can see like at least one of them. This is one of the new
Uh,
fatalities for Liu Kang.
Thrill Kill is the name of that game, by the way.
What was it?
Thrill Kill.
Yes, exactly. Yep. Because that game, like, that's so stupid, kind of gory that everyone can looking at that. That's more of sensibility to the time, basically.
That looks so fucking realistic.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus. That is beautiful.
Oh damn.
But yeah, so like
Yeah,
that's the thing,
no,
right?
imagine that's someone's job is like
wait,
40 hours a week animating that.
wait, where'd you post this at?
It's in the AFK
Live
chat.
chat. Yeah. I don't know if
Oh
you have
no!
permissions to look at the
God
spot.
damn it.
Oh,
Hold on.
God
This is what
damn.
happens when you invite someone for the first time. They don't know what the fuck they have. No.
Okay, can you see it now?
I believe.
Should be called
Yes,
squad
yes.
chat. Okay.
Yep.
But yeah,
Oh,
no.
But
let's see
yeah, and
what
that's
this.
just one of them. So like
Yeah.
imagine, and I'm sure that that one is one of the more cartoonish ones. So like
Yeah, it
just,
did look kind of
Oh, no
cartoonish.
doubt.
Wow.
Like, yeah, no, someone's job is just animating that all week long.
Yeah, I can see why that would drive someone to fucking PTSD.
Well, no, that actually kind of goes with my point. Like, that was cool as shit, and the only part where you really saw that like necessary detail was when it zoomed in on his face, when you like could see like the fear and like the sweat and the dirt. The rest of the organs and everything, that was fucking unnecessary. They were on there for like a split second. Them putting that much realism and details into that's gonna literally be there for that short, I don't think it's really necessary.
See, without context, no, it's not necessary. But as far as Mortal Kombat goes, if they did not have that in your face level of shit, would you be as stoked on it?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely not.
Because like
Because the game has already set a precedent that they have done worse
right.
as far as like the gore goes.
Oh, that is, you know, I think I am one of those fans that's just kind of like, I think, yeah, no, this is the amount of goriness I am probably comfortable with.
I mean that's fine.
Like,
Like that's
yeah,
completely fair. Like I don't think, I personally do not think it is that bad. But definitely like you can see where as the generations go on, like Mortal Kombat is going to
Get more
get to
it's
a
gonna get
place.
more accurate, to say the least.
right.
Yeah.
That is
And that's not really like a path that they can really avoid, because like Carter said, like they've already set the precedent for it. Like they have to keep up an ante in some way. Otherwise people are gonna be like, all right, well this just feel the same as the last fucking game.
You know, I feel like everything I'm saying is gonna become a mute point when this comes out in VR.
Oh god.
I would
Like,
throw up for more than one reason. I would throw up if this game came out in VR.
like,
Jesus.
because like overall, I mean, that fatality was sick as fuck. Just
Agreed.
like the twin dragons coming down, it's just that was sick as fuck.
Agreed.
Like the amount of detail on like the organs and stuff like that, I don't think this is necessary. I think the overall fatality in itself was cool enough.
I'm just
That's
waiting
for
to see
me.
like one of Melina's fatalities.
Oh,
Oh,
Or like
God.
if Baraka comes back, like
Oh
what is his
God.
fatality gonna be?
that
Like that shit is like I can definitely see where people would say that's a lot.
yeah,
Because like Baraka straight up eats your head. And like if
yeah,
that's like cool, the fucking fire and ice dragons, like cool, that's funny. But like
But there are some of them where it's just gonna be like, Jesus criminy.
yeah.
yeah.
Like that one insect girl from one of the newer Mortal Kombats as
Oh
well.
yeah, the one where she would like plant eggs into you and then the fucking
Oh,
maggots would burst out.
Yup.
oh,
Jesus.
Yeah. Now imagine that, except in 1440p high definition.
Ultra
Yes,
wide.
please.
you know what? Maybe you know what? Maybe I just change boats on your guys' argument with your guys' argument right now. Maybe I think you know what? Maybe they should go harder on the details because imagine
Jesus.
if they go past the point where they can make this look as bloody and as realistic as possible, right? But they still want
Yeah,
to get
okay.
that unsettling factor, right? Why don't they start like tapping into people's like actual fucking phobias and shit like that?
I
Like some
mean, there's kind of already an extent of that, like the whole maggot thing that
yeah,
was just brought up.
that's what I'm saying. Like
Didn't
if they
like that
start
one.
amping that to
Not
like
really.
max.
Yeah.
Because like with people like with like tryptophobia, like the fear of like the different shapes, holes and things like that. Imagine if like the maggots bursted out and that's what the imagery started forming into, but that was like super detailed in itself. I feel, you know,
Yeah,
maybe
she
that's a
also
work
had
on for
the
me.
acid kiss.
Yep.
I remember. I used to use that fatality all the fucking time. The fucking
Of course.
acid kiss fatality, where she would just like basically she'd start with a kiss and then she would like eat half of your face and then vomit it back onto you in acid.
Hey, that's someone's fucking fetish.
Right.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. No, I mean
Not
like
mine.
It's not mine. But
I see the appeal.
do you?
you see the appeal of that, Bobby? Hold on.
Wait, hold
Yeah,
on.
Explain that,
Pause. We need
please.
to have an
squeak
intervention.
release at the
Yep. No.
end.
We'll talk about that one off stream.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna need to dive deeper into
Tune
that
in
one.
next week for the AFK intervention part 1.
Yep.
Oh no.
All
Part one.
right.
The fuck you mean part one?
This is part 2. It's fine.
All right, that's
Yeah.
that's all I had to say on that. I just wanted
Yeah.
to get your guys'
No, you're good.
opinions on
So yeah. So go ahead and put it in your in your calendars for people that like gore as one of their fetishes. Your gore simulator will be out September 19th. So stay tuned for that.
Also, please stop fetishizing gore.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's yeah,
No,
basically.
that would be a big plus, honestly.
Yeah.
Thank you. And if you
What,
do, I
Carter,
don't
why
want
don't we
to know
move
you.
on to something slightly more positive? Why don't you tell us about your favorite racing game of 2021, dude, and about the sequel that's
Dude,
about to come out?
fuck yeah. So for those of you who don't know, one of my favorite arcade racers and really racers in general in the last few years to come out has been Hot Wheels Unleashed. Hang on. Um, it is exactly what it sounds like. You just race a bunch of different Hot Wheels, but they are like legal, like official, actual Hot Wheels products, like the Batmobile. They've got some Ninja Turtles shit. They've got like any major fucking important Hot Wheel car that you can think of is in that game. Um, it was a super fun game. You can build your own race tracks with this like super crazy in-depth level editor that's got like a bunch of different parts and stuff, but it's all Hot Wheels. It's all in like someone's bedroom, someone's living room, whatever. And just it was so fun how they were able to like perfectly capture the scope of like I don't know, it kind of felt like a Toy Story type thing where like everything was alive despite it being plastic. And like it was really detailed and it was animated in a way where yes, as you're playing it, it's this high octane, just like thrilling arcade racer. But really, at the end of the day, you're just racing these Hot Wheel cars around on a racetrack. And it was like so highly detailed that like the more you would use a particular kind of car, the more like wear and tear and like scuffs and shit that you would see on it, like you would someone that was playing with a fucking Hot Wheel. Like it was so
Oh, that's pretty cool.
needlessly realistic and like pretty for being a fucking game about driving Hot Wheels around. Um, Super fun game, super great concept. They are making another one that's coming out later this year.
October 19th, to be more specific.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm checking out the trailer for the first one. I
is
thought it was a new one. I'm gonna be
stupid
real with
fun.
you.
It's stupid fun.
Like, no, just looking at it right now as like they're going on like the actual track, I know what you mean. Like it has that super nice lighting on everything.
It's gorgeous.
Like this looks like it plays like Need for Speed Most Wanted, if I'm being honest. But it
I
looks like a
highly
good story.
recommend playing the first game. It's very regularly on sale. If you have
It's on sale right
PlayStation, if you
now.
have PS Plus, I believe they gave it out at one point last year. It may also be on Game Pass. Fantastic game.
I mean,
They have said
no, yeah, it's 80% off right now on Steam for $10.
percent off on Steam right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Right
pick it
now.
up on my fucking Steam Deck.
Yeah, it's $10 right now. You can get the Game of the Year edition for 22.
Good God.
Yeah, no, looking at this looks like it plays like a great just racing game in general, but it looks like it is everybody's fantasy because you get to drive whatever fucking car you want.
Yeah, it's great. No, they literally have like a Batman pack, a Looney Tunes
Yep.
pack, monster trucks, like all kinds of shit.
I'm looking at this Looney Tunes one.
It is.
Oh,
Yeah, it is so much fun. All that to say, they are making a sequel. They have announced that it is going to include greater diversity of vehicles and environments. The trailer for the game is showing that they are doing off-roading, or in this case, off-tracking through rugged outdoor terrain. They are also adding 2 new gameplay mechanics: dashing, which can be used to dodge incoming objects or ram opponents off the road, and jumping, which can help uncover hidden shortcuts and discover new track sections. So basically, what I'm getting off of that alone is they took all of the systems that worked and they are adding in basically like fucking Crash Team Racing shit, which is just insane to me because this is all Hot Wheels.
yeah, no, I mean,
They have also announced that the starting roster of vehicles is going to be 130,
Jesus.
and it will also include motorcycles and ATVs.
God damn.
from the little bit I'm just looking at like fucking screenshots of like in game. It's
Yeah, no, this shit
fucking
looks beautiful.
Yeah.
The
Like-
track editor tool from the first game is also going to be returning, which allows players to create original racetracks from scratch. According to the developers, there will be an even deeper wealth of options this time around, including a number of new features that, quote, increase the diversity of player-generated tracks, end quote. Cross-platform sharing of user-generated content is also set to be available on day one.
Hell yeah. All right. Maybe I'll pick up this Hot Wheels game.
No,
It is
I already added to my
so
wish
much
list.
fun. It's so much fun.
Wait, did you just say
if
you
I'm
added
being
it to your wish list?
the
It's
first one, yeah.
$8.
Huh?
It's $8.
Did we not have this conversation a couple weeks ago about me maxing out my credit card over a golfing game?
You stated
What?
just a couple of weeks
No,
ago. Have you not been paid since then?
Yeah.
We
You-
actually have
You
that
want to know how much? You want to know how much I got paid on my last paycheck? Because it wasn't my commission check. I got paid
$100.
$370. You want to know what my rent is? $350.
See,
paid
now
a
that is
portion
unlucky.
of I paid off a portion of my rent and some other bills that I need to do, and I have maybe $15 to my name to last me 2 weeks.
God damn.
It'd be like that.
What about Alex, bro?
Alex makes money.
So all that
Go
to
work
say,
with Alex.
if you like arcade racers, if you like something low key, more fun, over the top, in the vein of like Mario Kart Zany, I highly recommend Hot Wheels Unleashed. I am very excited for the sequel.
Fair enough. It looks like fun. I'll have to give it a shot.
It's very fun.
All right, time to piss off Carter some more.
We just got them all
At his
happy.
moment of zen.
Yep, he got a moment of zen. Now we got to swap it back. All right, let's talk about Redfall. We haven't shit on Bethesda enough
No.
recently. Okay, so
Ooh.
this article was published about 3 days ago from Game Rant. All right, apparently many Redfall devs actually wanted Microsoft to cancel the game. A new report reveals that many developers working on Redfall wanted Microsoft to cancel the game before its release. Redfall received poor to mixed reviews upon its launch in May 2023, and is currently one of the lowest rated AAA games of 2023 / of all time. I added the / of all time, by the way, because it's true. Let's see here. Xbox Series X version of Redfall has a score of 56 on Metacritic, with its PC version sitting at 54. The user score is far lower, as the Xbox Series X and PC versions of Redfall have a player rating of 3.5 and 2.1 respectively on Metacritic. Redfall players experience a wide variety of problems, resulting in the game getting review bombed on Steam. It's not a review bomb because it's accurate. Now, a new report shares that developers wanted Microsoft to cancel the game. I don't like that they used review bombed on there, like
That's
at
true.
all.
Wow.
That gives
they
it.
basically
But the problem is that people use review bomb as a term to say that it's getting unjustified negative criticism over
Right.
one small mistake versus like Redfall is an actual terrible game. Like verbatim. It's not even talking about just the technical issues. It's just like the whole encompassing like subject of Redfall is just shit. So I don't know. I have a problem with them using review bomb. It's just like they could have used better phrasing than that, in my opinion.
I don't know.
I gotta stop playing Street Fighter in my fucking carpal tunnel right now.
Jesus.
I think the thing that disappoints me the most out of Redfall is it's proven something very upsetting to me, which is that nobody else can replicate the success that the Left 4 Dead games had. And the reason that upsets me is because Valve is very clearly never going to make another Left 4 Dead game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very sad.
True.
It's very sad.
I don't know. I
No,
feel
but
like
I
they
would
could have made a
pay-
decent game if Bethesda had or if Arcane Studios had actually tried.
No.
Well, no, what Markov said makes me kind of actually happy because I didn't know much about Redfall at all, and I'm looking at the trailer right now, and I just couldn't figure out what the point of the game was. It looked like it was a Left 4 Dead style game where you just traverse to the map, try to get to your end checkpoint, kind of like on a rail shooter, but you're moving along yourself, but with zombie waves. But then I started watching more of the trailer, and they started showing more and more different characters and things, and I don't know what the fuck point of the game is. It looks like there's some stealth missions, but that's not what Left 4 Dead was.
There is no
Like,
stealth because there's not really a lot of enemies to even hide from.
well,
Or AI in those enemies.
I use stealth very loosely because what I'm watching in the trailer right now is you're right. There was 3 enemies. They were all decently scattered in the field of vision. He kind of walks up quietly to it, shoots one dead, shoots the other one no problem, and then after the second one died, that's when the big middle enemy reacted.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
weird.
see now the AI must have been downgraded because even in the game that would not have happened. They would have just continuing like just looking away from each other. Even if they had been looking straight at you while you're standing up, they would have just looked at you and just stared. The AI is fucking terrible in that game.
That's disappointing
Yeah.
because honestly, when you look back on like the Left 4 Dead series, it doesn't look like a hard formula to replicate at all.
Until
It-
people actually tried to replicate it.
Right, and then they realize the reason Left 4 Dead works so well is because it looks complicated, but it's just simple. You don't have staggering like huge carryover power ups, pipelines. You just get a good gun, a better gun, a rapid fire gun. There isn't stackable effects. There isn't unique. There isn't like overly huge unique enemies. It's one alerts them to you, one makes them more attracted to you, does slight damage to you. One of them hops onto you from a hidden area. They're not teleporting you. They're not warping. It's a good, clean cut game. And from what I'm seeing from Redfall, I can't even figure out what the core mechanic of the gameplay fucking is. I don't know what I'm looking at from the trailer. I can only imagine what it's like playing this game.
As far as I understand, you don't even really get it explained how you got your powers in the first place in the game.
That's then there's no point.
They're just there.
That it's one of those things where it's just like it's Chekhov's gun. It literally is. You present an item, you want it explained, you want it to know, is it gonna be fired? Why is it there? Is it gonna be relevant again? Was it relevant ever? With these powers, it doesn't. Then what's the point? If they just have cool powers, is that part of the world? Is that because of the enemies, or did you get them to fight the enemies? Like, what's the point of it?
Nobody knows.
That's
So yeah, no. So here, hold on. We'll continue discussing it, but let me finish the rest of this article first.
good.
So oh, you fucking stop it. Okay. Let's see here. Microsoft purchased ZeniMax in 2021, and some of the staff reportedly hoped that it would cancel Redfall or at least allow them to reboot the game as a single-player title. However, a report claims that Microsoft was pretty hands-off, allowing studios under ZeniMax to operate as usual. Bloomberg also mentions that Microsoft canceled a PlayStation version of Redfall that was reportedly in development, making it exclusive to Xbox Series X and PC. Oh no, what you really gave Sony a fucking L on that one. There is a ton of other information in the report, including significant microtransaction plans that were only scrapped in 2021. While Redfall began as a live service title, it looks like a number of other factors contributed to the game's poor release as well, with a lack of staff being a major issue. As a result of its reception at launch, Redfall is also already out of the top 10 most played games on Xbox consoles despite being a month old. Redfall has a big focus on co-op gameplay, but it looks like the users aren't interested in playing the game even though it's available at no extra cost on Xbox Game Pass. Steam numbers are not any better, as only 75 people are playing Redfall at the time of writing this article, according to the Steam database. 73.
Oh, 73.
Hold on, I need to look now. Hold on, let's update that number, shall we? So if I look on here, there are 47 people in group chat, according to the community hub. It doesn't even give me a live number.
Just in group chat.
Very good.
Game is a month old and already dead. Crazy.
From the gameplay, I can see why.
It's not even just gameplay. The game has countless amounts of bugs. It also crashes. The audio will stop randomly working, and you'll have to reboot the entire game.
Hold on. There's a bug in the trailer. There's a scene where one of the NPCs is like trying to get up, and instead of like pushing off the ground, he just pushes off the air and just shoots himself up, and then they cut immediately off of it.
It's like, don't put that there.
Yeah, that.
Jesus Christ. That's
They're
great.
vampires?
Yeah. It's supposed to be a vampire game.
I'm 6 minutes into the trailer. And I just found out they're vampires.
Yep.
Julio, what you got to say about that, bud?
Not really much. Redfall wasn't. I didn't play it, and in all honesty, I wasn't like much of a Left 4 Dead guy.
I didn't play a lot of Left 4 Dead, but I still had respect for the games, and I would go back to them every now and again.
Oh,
They-
I
Yeah, I just never played them.
no, those were one of the few games I could play when I was younger. Oh, they were great, and I still mod the shit out of it and hop on in a couple of games. There are still people. I still hop into an open lobby and I will get a match.
Oh
with
yeah,
people.
no, the game is still extremely fucking popular just because of the mod support. Like if I
Yeah.
look at the community hub right now, look at Left 4 Dead 2 community hub, there are 22,000 people playing the game right now.
Jesus Christ.
22.6k people playing the game.
And it's not 100. It's 22K. It's the full 22. That's insane to me.
And then you got fucking, let's look at Half-Life. Let's look at another Valve banger. Let's look at Half-Life 2, all right?
Half-Life 3 when?
574 people in that game, and it came out in 2004.
Half-Life isn't even multiplayer.
Nope.
Ah,
Half-Life
just
Alex. Oh, there's no one in
casually
that
playing-
game.
Oh, that makes sense though.
Yeah, it's a VR game. I mean, to be fair, it's overwhelmingly positive. It's a good game. It's just,
VR, yeah.
it's a VR single player game that, not a lot of people have a lot of access to begin with. Not because it's expensive, but just because VR just hasn't really taken off yet.
True. It will.
It will
Okay.
eventually.
I'm waiting for my
I'm gonna
full-on Yu-Gi-Oh experience.
True.
I'm gonna be 100% honest. A vast majority of the time we've spent talking about this Redfall shit, I have been looking up the stuff that they have on Amazon for Hot Wheels Unleashed 2.
It was to show how great
Fucking
Redfall
love you,
is.
Carter. I don't care about no fucking Redfall. I want my fucking Hot Wheels.
Listen, man, it screams to the state of gaming right now that I would much rather be playing basically a children's game. Like I'll settle on being told that it's a children's game over these fucking AAA premium first party experiences that everyone spends all of E3 or the Game Awards or whatever the fuck they call it now, just jerking themselves off to.
True.
Fair.
Like the last giant first party AAA game where I was like, yeah, you deserve to jerk yourself off was Ragnarok.
That's
And
fair.
before that, it was like, honestly, before that, it was probably God of War 2018. Like,
Yep. Well, speaking of VR, it looks like Mark Zuckerberg just announced the MetaQuest 3, our next generation virtual and mixed reality headset, which launches later this year in 2023. It features higher resolution, stronger performance, breakthrough meta reality technology, and a slimmer, more comfortable form factor. Quest 3 will ship in all countries where MetaQuest is currently supported this fall. The 128 gig headset starts at 500 USD and will offer an additional storage option for those who want some extra space. Mark your calendars because we'll have lots more to share at MetaConnect, which returns this year on September 27th. Let's see here. Quest 3 combines our highest resolution display and pancake optics to make content look better than ever. To power those extra pixels, this will be the first headset to feature a next generation Snapdragon chipset developed in collaboration with Qualcomm Technologies. That next gen Snapdragon chipset delivers more than twice the graphical performance as the previous Snapdragon GPU in the Quest 2, meaning you'll get smoother performance, incredibly crisp details, and immersive games. On Quest 3, our best-in-class meta reality tech lets you seamlessly blend your physical world and virtual reality. These new experiences will go beyond today's mixed reality by intelligently understanding and responding to objects in your physical space and allowing you to navigate that space in natural and intuitive ways that were nearly impossible before. High fidelity color pass through, innovative machine learning, and spatial understanding let you interact with virtual content and the physical world simultaneously, creating limitless possibilities to explore. Now you can play a virtual board game on your kitchen table with Demio. Decorate your living room with virtual art courtesy of Painting VR, and dive into a fully immersive world to do things that are simply not possible otherwise. Yeah. So I'm not gonna keep reading through all this because, to be honest, I don't think really anyone in here is really caring about VR. Basically, the entire article trying to sell you on the MetaQuest. As always, the articles for all this stuff that we talk about tonight will be in the description of the video. So if you guys want to learn about more about the Quest 3, you guys are more than welcome to, but I'm not going to keep talking about it. Quick comments about my co-hosts about the Quest 3. You love it, you hate it, don't give a shit about it. What's going on?
VR makes me throw up.
Okay.
Mark Zuckerberg
Like
wants
I
to force you.
legitimately get stupid motion sick.
Well, the future's really gonna suck for you.
Jesus.
I am aware. It's a
I
fate
am
I'm willing
aware,
to
he
accept.
says. All I care about is Beat Saber.
True. Beat
Saber's
Saber,
actually so much fun.
VR
Beat
chat,
Saber's pretty
and
rad.
Super Hot are the best VR experiences I've ever had in my life.
VR Super Hot just sounds so disorienting.
Dude, it is the
Wild.
funnest thing
it.
I have ever fucking done. Like for like game wise, just because like the whole mechanic of it, the whole. Let me. It's hard to explain. Let me just tell you my favorite part that I did. It was basically there was three of the red guys coming down the hallway, and then one of the motherfuckers ran at me. So I punched him, took his gun, fired one bullet at the other one, didn't have any ammo, so I threw my gun at him, and it killed him. That's fun. That is the funnest I've ever had dodging a bullet, because I didn't die.
I did die, but no regrets.
Exactly, it's great.
Damn straight. But yeah, no. So people that like VR, keep an eye out for the MetaQuest 3. I'm sure they're gonna release more shit about it. I think there's some sort of convention coming up for Facebook related bullshit or the reality shit coming up soon. So
No, Konami needs to step up their fucking game. That's all I'm saying.
are they in VR?
They need to be.
Why?
For Yu-Gi-Oh?
Oh,
I don't
well,
care.
all right,
I
fair enough.
want my dedicated Yu-Gi-Oh handheld device where it's basically a phone. I scan the table and I can play all my augmented reality cards.
That'd be pretty cool. I'd buy that. I'd buy that.
Dude, this
Yeah.
Looney Tunes track set honestly looks really badass.
It does. I looked
This
at
man's
it.
still on Hot
It looks
Wheels.
I am. I'm looking at all
Nope.
the shit I missed. I stopped playing it before the Looney Tunes shit came out.
You
Oh.
need to. Dude, I looked at it and it's super fucking nice. The
Oh
track
no,
and
I'm
everything.
reinstalling it on my PS5 right now.
There you go.
I am.
That's great. All right. Speaking of PlayStation, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is coming to PC on the 26th of July. Let's see here. Ratchet and Clank recently celebrated its 20th anniversary. We are thrilled and honored to bring this iconic franchise to a new audience. If you haven't played a game from the series before, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is an excellent one to start with. The game is a visual spectacle that is perfectly suitable for newcomers, and thanks to a standalone storyline and the introduction of two brand new characters, Rivet and Kit, we can't wait for you to meet these intergalactic heroes and start your multi-dimensional adventure when the game launches on July 26th. Today, I can share the first details on the PC features for the game that our team has been working on and tell you more about the pre-purchase bonuses. Let's see here. So the PC version of Rift Apart features ray-traced reflections with a variety of quality levels to choose from, and newly added ray-traced shadows for natural light in outdoor areas. This enables realistic shadows with natural gradients in softness. We know many PC gamers enjoy playing on ultra-wide monitors. For those, we added support for 21:9, 32:9, and up to 48:9 resolutions for triple monitor setups. Both gameplay and cutscenes are optimized for ultra-wide screens as well. This is possible thanks to our engineers, artists, and QA team who have analyzed the game and adjusted all cinematics to ensure compatibility with panoramic aspect ratios. The game supports unlocked frame rates and includes the latest performance-enhancing upscaling techs. You'll be able to choose from NVIDIA DLSS 3, AMD FSR2, Intel XeSS, and Insomniac Games Temporal Injection. NVIDIA Reflex and image quality enhancing NVIDIA DLAA are also supported. Rift Apart on PC offers full mouse and keyboard support with customizable controls, Controllers are also fully supported, and when using a DualSense controller on a wired connection, you can feel in-game actions coming to life in your hands with haptic feedback and dynamic trigger effects. Rift Apart will be available on Steam and Epic Game Store. Head over now to wishlist or pre-purchase the game. If you pre-order it ahead of launch, you'll get access to the following in-game items early in your playthrough: the Pixelizer weapon and the Carbonox armor set. I know Carter probably already has this game and has already beaten it, but Julio, what was that?
I'm being a nerd. I said I platinumed it.
Beautiful.
God damn.
It's a great
Raul
game. I
and
fucking love that
Julio,
shit.
are y'all gonna be picking this up?
Unfortunately, I might have to pass on this game.
Damn.
From the trailer, it looks like a good game, but the Ratchet and Clank series, I don't have that nostalgic feeling with it. Like it's just, it looks like a decent game, but it's just out of my realm. So
I
I'm
have
even
not.
picking it up.
I have not played those games in years.
Oh,
They're so good. Like the consistency that they have maintained is amazing to me.
Yeah, they are great. No,
I don't
I've
know.
actually already played it.
Oh,
Oh.
you did?
Yeah.
Where'd you play it?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? It's a PS5 game.
Yeah, and
How did you play it?
on a PS5
Where did you get a PS5?
with money.
I didn't know you
What?
had a PS5.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
What are these questions?
Well,
I've
it sounds
had
like
it for. I
questions
haven't
are.
had it that long. I've had it for like 2-3 months now.
Okay. No, I don't know. I figured all you guys were just like, PC master race, and then I'm just the fucking console slob.
No,
Nah.
PlayStations are. Bro, I love PlayStation.
Same.
Especially because all their exclusives are like the best exclusives. So
They really are, though.
get fucked on. Like,
Alright.
I
What
was
was the
never
game
much
we
of an
talked
Xbox
about?
kid anyway.
Redline, that's a good example of what the fuck's going on. PS5 all the way.
But yeah, no, I'm glad we got this out of the way. I had a PS5 for
Now we know.
Well, goddamn.
Now we know. But yeah, no. I haven't played a Ratchet and Clank game since like I don't know, PS2, I think.
Ooh.
Is the last
That
time.
fire truck has monster truck wheels. Oh my god.
Basically when the last Jack and Daxter game came out, essentially.
Wait, they had a Ratchet and Clank game on the PS2?
Pretty sure.
Yeah,
Like the
Oh,
first
they had a few.
4 of them.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
it's saying, dude.
No, because like again, they were never my type of games. For some reason, I had the association of Ratchet and Clank with like Cooper. For some fucking reason, I
Which
don't know
was
why.
also
It's
on
also on
PS2.
PS2.
Yeah, that's
Like,
why.
Almost all of the games.
No, that's just
Actually, I don't
the
know.
association.
Did they have one on PS3? If they did, it
I
must
think
have
it
been
was a
Like Cooper?
remake.
Cooper
Yes.
PS3 was the Thieves in Time. Jack and Daxter, they only had the remasters.
Was Thieves in Time on 3? Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Thieves in Time was on 3.
I miss like Cooper.
Don't we all?
That was like one of the only games that they had like the PS Vita cross buys with.
Yeah.
Bro, the Thieves Raccoonus was like the first game where I collected.
That
like,
was one of the
everything.
first games that I 100%ed. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great game.
Mm-hmm.
I should go back in
Um,
there and play it again.
I should
owed it
download it
to
on
it,
my Steam
actually.
Deck. I still own it.
Fair. Okay. Well, this podcast has been going on for nearly 2 hours, and your boy's disc space
Big
is
space.
I'm gonna bleep that out. No.
Hello.
No, but I'm going to go ahead and go quickly through these last handful of articles. If you guys want to talk about that, then we can. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is still launching this year, despite Square Enix going quiet on it for so long. Posting the smallest possible Q&A on Twitter about it, Square Enix answered the question, how is development progressing on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? The answer doesn't really give much away, though it sounds like fans may get a release date for the long-awaited sequel to FF7 Remake soon. With the quote saying, development is progressing smoothly and according to plan, Square Enix said, We are working on nailing down a release date for the game as we speak. So, did you guys want to talk about that at all? Got any
Haven't
rants?
played
Got
the first
any?
part yet.
Oh, you haven't even
No,
beaten
no.
the first one yet? I thought you
No,
had it.
I haven't played the original.
Oh, so you've been just taking your time?
No. It's just I haven't played them.
I thought you had one.
I have them on fucking PS Plus. They're on my Game Pass.
Oh, I could have swore I seen you playing it not too long ago. Maybe
The
I was wrong.
original.
Maybe it was that one. I'm not for sure now.
Yeah, it was. I have not played Remake.
Julio.
Yeah.
What about you, man? You got anything to say about FF7?
Not really.
Not
I'm
really.
not a huge fan of Final Fantasy VII, in all honesty.
That's fair. I usually only hear
It's a
Kane
perfect
ranting and
game.
raving about it.
Maybe it was the perfect game in 1992.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I respect it. I respect Final Fantasy VII. Like, it's
First
definitely
mistake.
like, it's definitely like one of the things that led to basically like I don't want to say the invention of a genre, but definitely like the popularization of a genre.
That's fair. I've heard people make similar arguments about it.
Yeah.
What about you, Raul?
He said yeah.
It's. I mean, yeah. I mean, what they said has been said. I mean, there isn't much on the updates for it. I think the remake this time around was honestly pretty good. I like what they changing up the stories and and it's not just it's the same fucking story all over again. It's something slightly different. I like that. I think what they're doing with the press releases is super nice too. The less they say, the less they have to explain later. Very, very good. So overall, just can't wait until the second part comes out.
Fair enough.
I'm not
I
Fair
gonna.
like
enough.
that they did a lot of new stuff with the story though.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna watch someone play it because that's just, I feel like that's what this time around the game is. It's more of a look at the story versus actually play the game.
I feel like that's like what a lot of modern Final Fantasy is. I mean, a lot of
Yeah,
modern Final Fantasy kind of plays itself. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
yeah,
like it is definitely like we are visuals the game.
Fair. But yeah, so Final Fantasy stuff. Next up is Witcher 3 sales. Apparently, the series itself has surpassed 75 million units sold, but The
Oh.
Witcher 3 specifically has officially crossed 50 million as
Oh.
of May 29th. So,
That makes me very happy.
Mhm.
Very, very happy.
yep. It's a good
Blood
series.
Wine still by far I will fight with someone with this one. It's still one of the best DLCs ever released for any fucking game.
Goddamn.
Better than Horse Armor in Oblivion.
You're damn fucking right. Better than my bling bling horse.
Yeah. Okay.
Damn.
Like,
I feel like I should have a League of Legends Smurf named Bling Bling Horse.
oh hell no.
But yeah, so that's a bit of good news from CD Projekt Red. I'm happy for them when it comes to Witcher.
Finally.
True. I'm happy for CD Projekt Red. They've been pumping out really good shit.
Yeah, Cyberpunk's great.
Start off rough. It got there. The anime is fucking peak.
You know what I love
okay.
the most about Cyberpunk? The fact that there was an entire modding community that fixed the game for them, and then they immediately after that mod was done, put out an update that broke the mod.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
They said no one is fixing this game but us. Fuck you.
Pretty
And they
rad.
proceed to break it further.
Even further beyond.
Oh.
You'll be lucky to even turn on your PC at this point, bitch. But yeah, so that's good. We always like seeing good games selling well, you know. It's always
True,
a it's
very
always a it's always a nice thing to see.
Yeah, it's cool to see Witcher 3 selling well too.
Yeah.
That's hurtful.
Witcher
Yeah.
3!
Witcher 3 is
I don't know.
amazing.
I could never get into it.
That's fair.
I loved it.
I mean, it's a pretty long game, and
Yes.
It's not even like I don't have a problem with long games. I've played like most of the main Persona entries. I just couldn't get into it.
Is fantasy not really up your alley? Are you more like
It
sci-fi or like?
is. I've fucking dumped the half of my life into like Skyrim and Oblivion. I just specifically could not get into Witcher 3.
Oh,
No, I know what you mean. Because like with like Skyrim, there's like you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's like it's fantasy, but you can do like just literally right off the gate, right off whatever. With The Witcher, it just when you go from the Skyrim to The Witcher, because that's what I did. It feels heavy. Like all your actions just feel like weighted and like it just doesn't sit right if you're going off the Skyrim with it. But that's what I love it more for than
Yeah.
Skyrim. Because
Just
like
wasn't ever my thing. I
fair
have
enough.
it. I just never got
it's
around to beating
understandable.
it. So.
Fair enough.
Well,
Let's see here. The next thing on the list, which I'm actually kind of happy about. Apparently, the Prince of Persia remake development is starting over after years or wait, what? Prince of Persia remake development starting over years after announcement. Um, let's see
well,
here. Announced in September of 2020, Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake was planned to launch in 2021 with improved visuals compared to the O3's original game. Development on the remake was first led by Ubisoft Pune, with assistance from Ubisoft Mumbai. However, in December of 2020, the game was delayed until March of 2021. Then in February of 2021, the remake was delayed indefinitely. And then in
well,
May of 2022, Ubisoft announced that Ubisoft Montreal, the original studio behind the classic trilogy, was taking over the project. At the time, it sounded like they were building off the work already done by Pune and Mumbai, but now, well, that doesn't seem to be the case. On May 24th, Ubisoft quietly revealed a newly updated Prince of Persia FAQ that development on the project has seemingly started completely over, writing that the game, which was supposed to be out in 2021, is now in the conception phase. The studio is also apparently building up the team that will develop the game while working on early prototypes of it. That all seems to imply that the original remake was mostly, if or even completely tossed out, and Ubisoft Montreal has gone back to the drawing board to start over. I don't know about you guys, but I beat the first three game or the original trilogy on GameCube with my dad. So I actually have a special place in my heart for these games, and I'm not gonna say I'm exactly mad about them starting over, because I'd rather them start over from scratch and take longer versus them releasing some fucking train wreck and
true.
then it just completely tanking.
Yeah. No, Ubisoft needs a win.
Yeah, desperately.
If they're
Because
not going to do Rayman, Prince of Persia is the next best thing.
yeah, because to be honest, like they aren't too far off from Bethesda's track record.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just want a game that's not fucking bloated for the sake of being bloated.
Yeah. I'm perfectly fine with a linear game with puzzles and shit like that, man. I'm perfectly
As
okay
long as
with
it's
it.
a
Just
good
make the game
yeah.
fucking good. So, I don't know. What about you, Julio? Did you play the Prince of Persia games?
Never.
Never. I'd
Yeah,
recommend them. They're pretty good.
the first one at least.
I played the first and second ones. I don't remember all too much from them. And then they made that really, really botched fucking remake on 360. That was just disappointing to
I
say the
remember
least.
there was a PSP game I remember being pretty good too.
Did not play that one. So, but yeah. So for people that are Prince of Persia fans, there you go. I guess we're gonna be waiting another probably 3 or 4 years for that game. For D&D peoples, apparently there are so many new D&D books coming in 2024 that no printing company can handle them all. Earlier this month, Dungeons and Dragons publisher WotC has revealed a roadmap of 2024. It plans to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the seminal tabletop role-playing game with a revision of all three of the best-selling 5th edition core rulebooks.
Jesus Christ.
The Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and Monster Manual. Trouble is, the publishing giant can't seem to find a printing partner to make them all in a timely fashion. Quote, we haven't actually talked publicly about the release schedule yet, said rules architect Jeremy Crawford earlier this month during the press briefing in Seattle. We're having conversations about what that will be, leaning toward a staggered release because there are a number of challenges in releasing all three of those at the same time, and they don't all have to do with just staffing or time. The 5th edition of Player's Handbook, in particular, is a hot commodity in the publishing world. It has ranked among the top 100 best-selling books of any kind on Amazon since 2016, 2 years after it was released. Given the even larger footprint that D&D has in pop culture, it's destined to sell quickly again in this glossy new revised 2024 edition. The sales velocity apparently is giving Wizards traditional printing partners pause. Quote, our print runs are pretty darn big, Crawford said, and printers are telling us you can't give us all 3 books at the same time.
Jesus.
The print runs we're talking about are massive. Added rules architect Chris Perkins. That's been not only true of the core books, but also Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. It's what we call a high-end problem. Crawford said that his team isn't all that worried about the staggered rollout of the revised core rulebooks. The originals were released in the same way, but also the existing 2014 editions still on players' shelves and in stock at your local game shop and bookseller of choice will continue to be compatible with the game. We want them to be close enough together on the release calendar, Crawford said, but we also recognize that this is not a new edition of the game, so people can continue playing with the books that they have while waiting for each release to come out. It shouldn't interfere too seriously. So, for the D&D peoples out there, you guys got a lot of content rolling your way. How you feel about that, boys?
It makes me fucking laugh, dude. That is the funniest shit ever. Because that's not we don't want to do this for like money or reasons. That's just no, please. That's so much work. Why at the same time? That's fucking hilarious.
That's fair.
Because it sounds like every company is willing to do the release. It's just how fast and how much work they're just like we feasibly cannot shovel out that much paper.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, that's millions of copies of each edition, and you're coming out with 3 relatively all in the same time frame. So,
And they're all pretty beefy right now, and they're gonna be adding more to them.
well, it says revised, so they might not be just specifically adding. They might be
Right.
removing some shit too.
Yeah, but I don't know. Even if they add or remove a little bit, that's still so fucking much. Oh, that's just funny. No, that phrasing just.
Yeah, no, that was funny. We simply cannot do this. Try again later. What about you, Julio? I know you're a pretty big D&D fan.
You know what? I mean, it's super cool. I just don't know like how much I'm gonna actually want to buy these because the newer rule set is supposed to be coming out soon. So like, I don't know. It's definitely a nice collector's item. That's pretty much all of what D&D books are at this point. If you want to find them, you can find them online. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
You just got the PDF real fucking quick. Huh?
Yeah.
You don't need them for the rule or anything like
Yeah,
that.
like there's whole ass Google Drives, there's whole ass Mega Drives,
Yeah.
there's like everything.
You can get them through fucking Tabletop Simulator.
You really can. But especially with like D&D Beyond existing, which is like the online
Right.
client for D&D made by WotC themselves. This is pretty much for like collectors, and like I think I've made it known how I feel about like collectors items in general. Like I don't really care about them.
Right.
But
This man don't give a fuck.
I mean, he's right though. I mean, collector's items are only really valuable to the collectors.
Yeah, in that
It's
relative sphere, yeah.
Yeah, I
Sphere.
mean, He's right. It's cool that they're doing it, but I stand with the publishers on this. At the same time.
Yeah,
Like, for
no,
the new
that's kind of greedy on WotC's end. They need to
Yeah.
take a chill pill.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's gonna be too hung up if it takes a little fucking longer to get
No.
all these out. I mean,
Like Julio
not-
said, it's mainly a collector's item. People aren't buying them because they desperately need the new edition or
right.
they want like the actual rule book so they can start playing again. Like you can play there are multiple different ways that you can find the rule sets online. It's not that
Yeah.
hard.
I know for a fact the DMG is free on D&D Beyond.
Yeah.
At the very least, and the player's handbook.
Yes.
So
Typically, the only one that I see people having trouble is the monster guide, but that's just
Yeah.
because there's like different editions of it. And it's
Yeah.
different rules. But overall, it's neat. I'm not buying it.
Well, shit, considering what they did for their last fucking anniversary thing for Magic, I don't think a lot of people are going to be buying it for fucking cost reasons.
That's true.
Yeah, but Magic's always overpriced.
That is also true.
who the fuck spends that much money on a bunch of pieces of cardboard? Am I right, fellas? Haha.
That's
Nope.
right. Pokemon.
Yeah.
No,
Shiny
no,
cardboard is
no.
mine.
Those are pieces of memories. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Childhood hopes and dreams, my die. Valuable stuff.
The fuck is this? Oh, that's the O-ring coming out of this charger. That's great. Anyways, but yeah, no. So for the D&D nerds out there you go. There's your rough time frame.
Save your money. Torrent that shit online.
You
Not
don't
even
need a
turn it.
torrent.
Yeah, just Google that shit.
Just Google it.
Yeah.
Just Google it.
DNDwiki.com.
For real.
That is also another place that you can get
Yeah.
shit. Just don't
There's
use
always a
homebrewed
wiki,
shit.
man.
Huh?
Don't use shitty homebrewed shit. I guess
True.
I should say most of the homebrew is OP for anything normal people are gonna do.
Yeah.
True.
All I will say is if you guys want to buy it for collecting reasons or whatever, you go for it. It's just D&D is not my cup of tea. I stick with trading cards, so yeah. That's all I got. But anyways, I think that's all I really wanted to cover tonight. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to bring up?
Tired as
Tears of the
fuck.
Kingdom is a very good game, and you should play it.
Okay.
Street Fighter
The
6
fact
is
that
a
that's
better game.
I know.
Yeah, it's dead.
The fact that Zelda is doing half the shit it is on 7-year-old hardware fucking terrifies me at the future of what Nintendo is going to do.
They're just gonna say, bro, we made this work so well. Why even update Nintendo? Let's just keep this Switch the same way for the next 5 years.
Probably.
So that's the thing, right? Like people
Yeah.
like it. I don't even want to say that like Tears of the Kingdom is super impressive. They're just the first ones who like actually properly utilize the Switch.
Not only that, but actually properly fucking optimized it.
Yo,
Yeah, because like everybody else seems to be having a shit ton of issues with the fucking
With the hardware.
system. Yeah.
Nintendo really
Not
be
me.
like, watch me do this with 10% of my power. Everybody's just like, use your full power, and they're like, no.
God damn it. I'm tired of stutter frames.
Basically, why can't I play my Pokemon game without dropping frames when next to a fucking tree? 2 trees? God forbid.
God forbid your ass is crashing. And I
I'm
hope
trying
you
to
have
fucking-
I
I'm
hope you
shiny
have a
hunting the
save.
Penguin Grove right now in fucking Pokemon fucking Violet. I'm about near damn fucking ready to give up. It's fucking near damn impossible. Fucking
Oh, yeah,
god
right.
awful.
Pokemon Home update happened not that long ago.
Yes,
Yep.
it did.
Yeah, so
I'm currently sitting at 19% of the Pokemon currently missing.
God damn, this man's been busy.
Yes. It's
I
just
actually don't know how many I'm missing now. I completed the decks for Sword and Shield, and then I completed the
Right.
decks for Scarlet and Violet.
so if you did Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, were those the only games you completed the decks for?
I mean, they're not the only games I've completed the decks for, but
Oh,
they're the only
like-
ones I have like home
Right.
shit for.
That's like honestly, even if you max them out, that's like 50%, 60%. Honestly, because
Gross.
with completing Sword, Violet, and fucking Legends Arceus, I completed. I think it was like 70% of the decks, and Legends of Arceus completed basically my Sinnoh deck.
Beautiful.
It's fucking getting there. But once I
think
get
you're
my
right. I have Pearl.
yeah,
Probably finish that next. Nah, then I'd have to play Pearl.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to say, even as a person that loves 4th gen, I sold my diamond version.
yeah,
I couldn't deal with it, bro.
It
It's
just looks
not.
so bad.
It's just so
Yeah.
bad. I'd rather just have the fucking emulator.
Gen 5 has to be good.
It,
Nobody told me
yeah,
anything different. Don't.
Huh?
don't
Gen 5 has to be good. They fucked up 4th gen for absolutely no reason.
They
And
did.
they fucked up Scarlet
Well,
and Violet.
no, they fucked it up for kind of a reason. They wanted to outsource some of the work, and they fucked it
all
up.
of
So
the
now they're
work.
gonna.
They
Yeah.
outsourced all of the work.
So
Don't say
now they're
so.
gonna try. That's fair. They outsourced all the work. So now they're gonna be like, I guess we have to fucking do it. So I believe in it. I believe 5th gen being fucking amazing remakes.
Yeah. So, all
For
right.
Zelda.
Fucking Christ. All right. Well, if no one has anything else to talk about, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it here for the night. Thank you everyone, or all the co-hosts that decided to show up tonight. You know, to help out and give some commentary with me. If anyone in the in currently viewing this video is watching and you enjoyed the content, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and follow the socials in the description. That's where we all decide to post up on Twitch whenever we decide to live stream. Make sure to like and subscribe. That way you guys can help us in the algorithm, and you guys will get notified when we upload again. Make sure to drop a follow. Make sure to tell us what we did right, what we did wrong for this episode. Make sure to go ahead and join the damn Discord so we can get more memes and articles from y'all to talk about on each of the podcast episodes. But yeah, that's all we got for
Better
y'all
be
tonight.
fire, otherwise you're gone. I'll ask you myself.
Bring
Jesus.
back Mega Evolutions if that's the only thing you take back from this whole entire podcast. Bring back
Stop
my
asking
Megas.
for it, Bob.
I want my
It's
fucking
not
Megas.
gonna happen.
Megas were ass.
I
They
love
weren't. They were
Megas.
just handled improperly.
How do you handle that You know what? This is off-stream stuff.
We're gonna be here for another 40 minutes.
We will be.
40 minutes is calling that fucking light. I have a whole fucking list on just Megas alone. Don't get me fucking started.
Jesus. All right, Carter.
Bye.
Everyone, say your outros.
Birds aren't real. Bring back Megas. Bye-bye.
I'm waiting for Carter to say something.
Jeffrey Bezos fucked my wife.